Yes, people, and welcome to another edition of The Rivals. Not only is it that another edition, it is the 30th episode. The 30th episode. I can't believe it. It's flown by. And I wouldn't be here without you guys' support. I just want to big up the comments real quick. So big up to Adrian. Good evening, sir. Big yourselves up each and every time. Big up Tommy G. Yep. I see you there, and the man them, and big up Star Crow ups along the way. All right, say nothing, man. Bless up, man. But guys, do remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna bring on some guests that I have for today. We've got a lot to get through. Let's bring on my first guest. What's going on, Gokes? Long time no see. How you doing, bro?
What's going on? What's going on? Happy to be here.
We've got a lot to get through, man. There's a lot of games
a lot to get through.
A lot of games that's gone through, but you well, man? You well?
I'm good. I'm blessed. How are you?
Yeah, man, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm going to talk about Liverpool United. That was on the weekend, so we'll get into that as well. But we also have an Arsenal fan and a regular, Chinks.
Big up, man.
And on my bro. You good?
How you look doing, man? Everyone all right?
Yeah, man. Good. How you feeling, man? You blessed?
I'm all right, man. Long time, Gokes, man. Where you been?
I'm there. You look like you're about to mix a set.
I wish you, boy. No, not even, man. Good
Also,
to see you, man.
We've got a new guest on, man. His debut. I'd like to welcome in Ian. How you doing, my bro?
Very well, sir. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, my friend. I'm good.
You,
what team are you repping? I want to know.
Do I have to say it out loud?
Yeah. Come on, say it with your chest, man.
No, I'm a United fan for my sins.
I could tell.
United fan for my sins.
I could tell.
You say with the intro? Was it the intro?
No, you know what it was? It was the earring.
Was it earring?
It was the earring. I knew it.
The earring, like.
I even forgot I had that in.
No, it's blessed. But I just want to get straight into it, man, because obviously, to be fair, you're the main event, Ian. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Wow, on the spot.
You're the main event. You know why you're the main event at the moment? No boxing. But what I'm saying is, you played Brentford.
Mm-hmm.
You dropped points last minute.
Mm-hmm.
You then went on to correct your wrongs at Stamford Bridge. Last minute, your batty went again. Right? They lost that game. Mad. All right, cool. You go on to Liverpool. 2-1. Looks like you're going to get the business done. Capitulation.
Yeah.
3 games in a row. Now, we normally have a Man United fan, but he's on a runner. I can't find him. I can't see him. But, I don't know. It's mad. For me, I'm saying he's always saying, the injuries. It's the board.
Nah.
It's the players. It's the manager. Actually, to be fair, he didn't really go too hard on Ten Hag. If I'm
okay.
To the last minute, but
that's interesting.
To the last minute. Now he's kind of on the Ten Hag train. If I'm being fair, but where do you sit on the level of blame? Where do you think the blame lies for Manchester United?
See, the thing is I feel like it's multi-layered, right, when it comes to Man United, because you have a lot of fans talking about the Glazers from the initial standpoint. So that's been an ongoing thing for years when it comes to Man United. Now, we all can agree that Man United is one of the worst run football clubs of the top clubs in world football. But I don't know if everybody else here agrees on the panel.
Yeah, talk your truth, man.
Yeah, depending on the charges with City and Chelsea.
The difference with Chelsea, at least you have some level of structure in place that it did exist. You had a football instructor that did exist, and then it kind of got ripped apart. So therein kind of lies the difference. Whereas we've had this same setup for a number of different years, and we still don't have a kind of footballing department. So if you were to turn around and say, who is Manchester United's chief negotiator, as an example, not a single fan could tell you that. Or maybe some of the kind of in the know who that person may be. You don't know who the head of recruitment is. You don't know. We don't have a director of football. We don't have, chiefs. We don't know who our chief scout is, as an example. So apparently, Man United have about 90 odd different scouts. I couldn't tell you one name. And so if you've got no cohesiveness amongst everyone that exists within the club, it becomes a very hard footballing operation to kind of get it to function how it should be functioning.
But I don't know the name of I don't know the name of Liverpool scout. What does that matter?
Because but at least you can identify who your director of football is. Therein lies the difference. We don't have that. So Man United, we refer to our CEO, whether it be Richard Arnold or John Murtaugh. These guys aren't football guys in the sense that they've come up in the footballing world. They deal with agents, etc. Talk and do the transfer negotiations on their behalf and that kind of thing. If we don't have that in place, and generally speaking, there was an article maybe about a year or two ago. Apparently, when Murtaugh was doing transfer dealings on the phone, 9 p.m. at night, by the way, his phone was switched off. You're having agents trying to call through to your phone, and your phone switched off as somebody who's meant to be our negotiator. That doesn't make any sense. You should be round the clock working.
So who was director of football when Ferguson was there?
We didn't have a director of football per se, but David Gill was the person who did all of our transfer dealings. When David Gill stepped down, he was a real footballing man, and Ed Woodward took over. Ed Woodward kind of was the figurehead in terms of doing that.
He's a footballing man.
Rumors of other people being involved and stuff like that, but even then, we still don't really know who that person was.
So basically, you've got non-footballers,
non-football guys,
and that's the biggest issue at the moment. But in terms of that's obviously layered, as you said. But we're talking about your manager, your philosophy, your style of play. I understand that does come from your director of football. I get what you're saying. But where do you sit with Ten Hag? That's what I want to know. And where do you sit with the players as well? Who's to blame? Is it Ten Hag? Is it the players? How do you feel? Should Ten Hag stay? That's what I want to know.
Okay, so I'll get into it straight away. For me personally, I don't think Ten Hag is the right man for Man United. And without kind of getting into slandering him or doing all of that kind of thing for reactionary things, but I look at the evidence on last season alone, right? Last season, if you consider our performances, he had us set up in a way where we were difficult to beat, right? So we played, it was kind of like it's pretty much kind of what we're doing now, but we weren't as transitional as we are this season, as an example. So we were still, when we build up from the back, it was always still in that kind of 3-1-6 formation, right? And you had the fullbacks kind of inverting sometimes, but pressing up a little bit higher against the other team's fullbacks. And now what you see based on the evidence of last season, if you look at our setup as a whole, we don't actually have like a cohesive unit. Players are so far apart and having to cover so much distance during games that is contributing to a lot of the injuries that we're incurring this season. This season we've had about 6.
So it's Ten Hag's fault. It's actually it's Ten Hag's fault where you're getting injured so much.
I feel sorry for it, man.
Because consider it like this, right? You have a manager who spent 426 million, right, and hasn't addressed the issues that sit within the team. You spent 100 million on Anthony, who's now basically sitting on the bench. You've integrated some of the youth. Mainoo, I can give him his kudos for that. I can give him the fact that he's bought it through Garnacho, who I'm not the biggest fan of, to be fair. You've bought in Malacia, you bought in Ericsson, you bought in Onana.
You're not a fan of Garnacho? How come? Talk to me about that one.
I'll tell you what it is, right? Man United favours too many players that are pace and power merchants. For me, I do like, don't get me wrong, I like direct players, but I like direct players who have a good amount of technical ability.
So would you say like Werner is a pace and power merchant?
100%. 100%. He's not a technical player at all. He's not a technical player at all. He's a pace and power merchant.
Wow.
And the thing is, the problem is with pace and power merchants, they do well with teams that push up high. So when you're playing the likes of the top teams, the Liverpools, the Man Cities, etc., you can hurt those teams in transition. But when you're playing a lot of the Premier League teams who sit back in the low block, it doesn't work, because you need some level of technical ability to be able to play some maybe combination play, triangles, etc. Work your way through them, as opposed to kind of just running in behind. That's why Rashford, if you look at even Rashford, when he takes on fullbacks, what's the first thing he does? They always double up on him. It's a very common tactic.
Would you sell him? Would you sell him? Would you sell Rashford?
I will 100%. 100%.
Interesting.
100%. It for me, it just simply doesn't work based on what we have. If I wouldn't necessarily sell Rashford, but I think he's better as an impact player as opposed to a starter for Man United. That's just my opinion.
Okay, fair enough, man. So, like, looking forward, you think the manager needs to change, you said. So who do you bring in? That's my question.
I try not to get into too much of the social media hype, right? Where they kind of
stay away from that. Stay away from that. Yeah.
If I was looking at a real tactician, I'd probably lean towards more of the Nagelsmann or Simone Inzaghi.
Right. Okay.
But then, even when you mention the 3 games that we currently kind of cocked up in the final minutes, look a little bit further back in the Champions League run. We dropped points against Galatasaray from winning positions. We dropped points against Copenhagen from winning positions. So this ethos is nothing new. This is something we've been doing for a long time under Ten Hag, because the setup is so bad. You have players having to run about 4
Sorry, I slipped, bro. I slipped still. That was a madness. Sorry, carry on. That was rude of me. Sorry.
Yeah, if you have players doing 40-yard sprints every single game, and you're doing that about 6 to 7 times per game, like every single game, you've got a problem on your hands. And I saw an interview recently that he did. I think it was just after Ajax's Champions League run some years ago, where Ruud Gullit basically questions Ten Hag about the tactic of the 3-1-6. When you have all of your attackers pushed up so high, and you don't have anyone in the middle of the park, and you vacate the middle of the park, you're taking too much of a risk, because you're looking for quick transitions for your attackers to finish quickly. That's an issue. It's an issue, because especially in the Premier League, where you have a lot of athletes, you're going to get hurt on the transition. I'm listening.
So
he is to blame, in my opinion, for a lot of our woes.
I just want to talk about.
Can I interject? Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Man United's business is not my business, right? So I should mind my own business. But I just want to. I feel like I'm in a rare position where I feel slightly compelled to give an alternative perspective of Ten Hag. If you want him gone, he can go. I don't mind. But I just want to add some very, very quick bullet points. At the time you got I've heard everything you said there. At the time you got Ten Hag, he was one of the most coveted managers in Europe. Multiple teams wanted him. He won the FA Cup in his second season. He finished second in the league as well. And in terms of you holding him responsible for injuries, you're entitled to do that. But then you would have to then explain why. I mean, all teams have injuries, but when it comes to like chronic, systemic injuries throughout this squad, then you're going to have to talk about Newcastle, Liverpool, Spurs, who we're on right now, Aston Villa, have all had like injuries of 5 or more starting players, like significantly. So we're holding him accountable for these things, which are actually quite commonplace throughout the whole Premiership. In my personal view, I think that a lot of Man United fans are really spoiled because unfortunately things work in cycles, and now it's just your turn to go through the mud a little bit. I don't necessarily think it's because of course, structure at the top. You would know more about that than me. But what I see, if I look at Liverpool, and I consider Liverpool to be a successful club, I see that Klopp is making a lot of the decisions. I see that he's got his fingers in a lot of the pies. Although we do have like Edwards and so on, there isn't this remote scenario of a director of football who tells Klopp, this is who you've got. You know, he's very directional in that. And what I've seen is that from the outside looking in, that the Glazers have backed every manager that's been under them. The manager says, this is who I want. Yes, you pay way too much. But essentially, it's like a spoiled child. The child says, this is what I want. And the parent gives the child what they want. And he's not, and we can't really blame the Glazers for that. Ten Hag has to have some responsibility for that, definitely. And on top of that, you've had injuries, which I don't think is necessarily his fault. I just think that other teams have become much better, and the standard's much higher. Arsenal have spent 700 million. One very little, but they're there now. Liverpool are where we are. Man City are where we are, and then you've got the like of Aston Villa who are coming up. Newcastle's bound to come again. I think it's just your turn to be in the mud, but that's just my 2 pence.
And sorry to add to that as well, yeah, because I agree with Golk so much, because you're not used to this. You're used to winning everything all the time, and I think this is the one time. I'm not saying this. What's his name? Ten Hag is completely not to blame for nothing here, but I think it's beneath him and above him where the major problems are, because I think that getting rid of him, it doesn't cure the actual problem, which I think is the players, because the players have like a attitude problem where they feel like they're bigger than everybody else. Like you look are very like Mr. Like everyone you buy is like marketable. Like there's always like some storyline, like the most expensive defender. We're getting Sancho from City via blah blah. Like it's all stuff that's good for the papers. It's good for the stock prices, isn't it? So in that being your transfer strategy, you've given these players like bigger egos than their talent has. So as you like, I think Ten Hag's transfers made sense to me in terms of the football he tries to play. He wants a ball playing goalkeeper like Onana. He wants Anthony. He wants I can't even remember the rest of the team, but the whole team, if you see the style of play he wants to play, is maybe not the same as City, but it's like you strangle the team. Your goalkeeper can cover a lot of space. You have fast defenders, so you want to strangle the team. But then your players are so used to going against what the manager wants that they're not doing it. Hence why you said the distances are so big between the team, because some man can do it and some man can't. Like, do you get what I mean? So now he's got players that won't even play the style of play he wants to play, and he's in a way getting the blame for it. Like, do you get what I mean? And then on top of, sorry, go on.
No, carry on. Finish your point.
Like, on top of that, the people above him are responsible for this, because this was all a problem before he was even here, because they've allowed these players to get that attitude, which is why I actually respected him for the Ronaldo situation, even though I love Ronaldo and I didn't want him to go, but I thought that would give him a bit of authority over the rest of these guys, because it stems along the lines of Arteta with Aubameyang, and like, oh, you lot are going through, he won a trophy in his first. It's like a mirror fold of Arteta. So he's actually given the Glazers something to support. Like, do you get what I mean? And like the players are just shooting. Like he can take some blame, but I think keeping him and getting rid of some players would send a better message to the players that we can't fuck about no more. But instead of just getting rid of him and getting a new manager.
But before you answer that, Ian, because that was a long, that you had to take in and you had to keep it quiet, composed. But I do want to answer that question, because the question is about. I actually want to look at Liverpool versus Man U in particular.
Okay.
And get your thoughts on that. But yeah, go ahead, answer. You can answer from what Gokes was saying and what Chinks was saying.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that stood out to me, said that the Ronaldo situation as an example. So one thing I like in my manager to be is consistent across the board. So when he was unhappy with the way Ronaldo was conducting himself and stuff like that, fine. You had your issue with Ronaldo. That's your issue with Ronaldo. But then how you dealt with Rashford. So for instance, when Rashford was out partying on 2 different occasions, you never threw him under the bus once in public. You said that it's a private matter. When Sancho, now basically you now decided to throw Sancho under the bus as an example in the press conference after the Arsenal game, to turn around and say that they weren't happy with his training not being up to standard, and you publicly now slated him, and then when he now publicly slated you back in a way to say that you're trying to scapegoat me, all of a sudden he's ousted from the team and he's back at Dortmund on loan. If you're gonna do that, I have no issue with you doing that. Pull up a player. But if you're going to do that, keep it consistent across the board. You can't impress, and this is what, for me, there's too many inconsistencies in press conferences. If you listen to what Ten Hag was saying about Ronaldo, he will turn around and say something like Ronaldo has to prove himself to basically score goals. But then when you're asked the same question about Rashford, your answer is very different. You said Rashford will continue to score goals. How can you now question the person that scored the most goals in world football ever, and then turn around in the same breath, the next breath, to turn around and say that Rashford will be back to form and that you're going to effectively pay him into form, but Ronaldo has to prove himself? That's not a consistent answer, and it almost seems as though he lacks self-awareness and never takes accountability for his own actions. the Premier League is not set up in the same way as the Dutch league. The Eredivisie, Ajax had the best team. I understand where the Ajax are now, given that he's now left and they're failing miserably, but it's the standard. Ajax, for the most part, had the most athletic team in the league, right? So you could afford those risks of playing the 3-1-6. But then, as we saw in the Champions League, those gaps appear massively. And when you've got a team that is tactically inept and can hurt you in transitions, that's why Ajax were still conceding a lot of chances. You can't, as a Man United team, I don't care how bad we're playing, if you're conceding more shots in 2024 than Sheffield United, there's a problem. It doesn't matter whether the quality of the shots are great or not, irrespective of anything. It means there's something functionally wrong with the system. So you mentioned, I think you mentioned, Chinks, that, some of the players aren't good enough. And I agree. So there's a lot of players in this team. For me, I've got out the whole team.
Not just not good enough, but they have bad attitudes, man. Because sorry to cut you. You see that Sancho thing? Because could you not see the parallel? So I took a certain route with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
That blew up in my face. I got disrespected everywhere. He went and done interviews all over the place. We're still not winning nothing. So I look like an idiot. So next time I have to approach this situation differently. Out in Sancho, I got called racist. Everything under the sun. It was bad for my PR. Ronaldo's leaving cost us money. Now I've spoke about Sancho. Everybody's thrown it back in my face. Pause. So now I can't. Now I feel so sorry for him because I can't even say what I want to say anymore. Like, do you get what I mean?
He didn't take the same line with Rashford. That's a problem.
But because he can't though. Because look what happened when he done it to Sancho.
But then
he got this.
But the Rashford incident happened prior. The Rashford out partying and came. I think it was prior. Was it prior? No, maybe it was after. Actually, I'm not lying. It was probably afterwards. But in the same breath, that you can't now throw one player under the bus publicly, but then when it comes to Rashford, we spoke about it's a private matter. That it doesn't set a good precedent if this is how you deal with players in one capacity and versus another. For me, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You've got to be consistent across the board.
You're right, but there's some special circumstances that you can't do that with certain people. And I'm not saying Rashford's one of those. I'm just saying I understand why he's chosen to not take the same path he took with Sancho. And Fergie, I'm an Arsenal fan. He's the best ever for me. I hate when people put Pep with him. Yeah, he done it to Cantona. Certain men couldn't do certain things, but Cantona could do what he want.
Yeah.
Like, do you get what I mean? But I'm not saying Rashford. I'm not trying to do that. But I'm just saying there's some mitigating circumstances. But I sorry, maybe I don't know Man U better than you, but I genuinely feel sorry for Ten Hag, man. I just feel sorry for him.
I struggled. You know, when you watch the games, right, and then Ten Hag will sit down systematically in the presser afterwards and turn around and tell you that we played well. And for me, that it's almost unbearable to listen to his pressers anymore, because he's literally sitting down lying to us, and you're actively telling me that we played a good game when we were battered from pillar to post. We were battered from pillar to post.
Do you prefer? Last question, Ian. Do you prefer Mourinho at Man United, not Mourinho the legend, Mourinho at Man United, or Ten Hag?
I'll tell you what, I preferred Mourinho at Man United, and I'll tell you why, right? Because Mourinho at Man United had star-studded players, and he could still attract certain types of players. So when he brought in the Ibrahimovic, when he brought in Pogba, when he brought in Matic, etc., like these players, for me, you can't beat those type of players. And when I look at the transfer history of what Ten Hag is doing, he brought in Eriksen, Malacia, Onana, Martinez, who else? Weghorst, Bayinda. None of these players you would put on a world stage and turn around and say, okay, this guy's a world beater. Now, when I look at all of the signings that he's made, as an example, how many of them have been successes? Haaland at 21-year-old. It's a dud right now. He can develop, might become a good player, but as it stands right now, he's not a success. The Casemiro, as an example, in his first season, absolutely brilliant, stoic solidified the midfield, which we had an issue with. Now It's Casemiro. You're tasking Casemiro with running 40, 50-yard sprints every single game, and he's getting caught out with 3-on-1s in the midfield. It doesn't make any sense. He doesn't have the legs for that. Why are you playing 2 8s in a game when you and 1 6 Casemiro as the lone 6? It doesn't make any sense. Why don't you?
Isn't that because? Sorry, that's because they had whatever you think of him, they had Mason Mount for that problem. So Casemiro was brilliant in his first season, 100%. He was losing his legs, 100%. They got Mason Mount, and they paid a lot of money to address that problem. And Mason Mount was injured, and
again, it goes back to the injury listing. So earlier you mentioned the kind of the constant injuries that teams have, and I completely agree with that point. But for the most part, teams typically go through about 20 to 30 injuries a season. That's normal. Us is 60. That's an issue. There's clearly something going wrong in our training because it's very intense, and there's a lot of reports that come in through different journalists to turn around and say that some of the players are not happy with the intensity of our training sessions. Now, for me, if you want to play like the Liverpool as an example, because I remember I think back in, I can't remember what year it was, maybe 2000.
Yeah, we had Hammy. Yeah,
you had a lot of injuries in your. Yeah. But Klopp adapted to that and realized that look, he can't train these players as hard as he constantly is. So he adapted. The difference is Ten Hag isn't adapting. That for me is a problem. It's a very old school mentality. You must run. It just can't work.
Golks, I want to get your thoughts on coming away from this a little bit. I want to get your thoughts on the Liverpool Manchester United game. How did you see it? Where did it go wrong?
Yeah, really simple. It's 2 points dropped. I don't think it was 1 point gained. That's what Klopp said. Our conversion is the problem. I mean, I was messaging you at the time it was happening, and I was saying that people don't realize that we create considerably more chances than both Arsenal and Man City, and I mean by a fair. I think it's like by 50 or something. It's a big number, and our conversion rate is lower, worse than half the table. So we're in the bottom half for conversion. I think since then, more stats have come out that we had 28 shots and all of these things. So, so our conversion was terrible. I think Salah was terrible. He's been really bad for a couple of months. I know that people will look at it and say he scored and he's been scoring, but you know, you need to kill games off, right? And he was very casual, let's say, very, very casual in front of goal, and that was that. I don't even blame. I know that we made a mistake at the back, and Bruno scored a fantastic goal. I don't even hold my guy to. I mean, it's his fault, but the game should have been out of sight. It should have been 4-1, 5-1, 6-1. So we dropped 2 points, but I didn't think we were going to win the league anyway, and I still don't think we'll win the league anyway.
Hold on a second. What's going on?
Play out on this one.
You know what? I was going to say this one last thing, right? I was watching the game at my mum's house. My brother was there. My cousin was there. We support Liverpool. And literally, my brother was like, this team, speaking about United, is so terrible. Because they kept on giving the ball to us. It was if anyone who watched the game in real time, I swear to God, United just kept on giving us the ball. They just they got to midfield and they kept Mainoo, who I love. And by the way, when we played in the FA Cup, Mainoo was having a madness that game. I was like, what is this guy doing? But on Sunday, just really poor, and they just kept on giving us the ball. And my brother was like, this is insane. Because one time we had a 5-on-2 because they gave us the ball and just didn't want to score.
But
so
that happened in the FA Cup as well, where you had a 5-on-2 as well. Casemiro had a disaster class that day, absolute disaster class. Bruno, who can't retain the ball anyway, had another poor game again. And the goal masked his performance. He was poor on the day.
Hey! If you score from 35 yards out, like future mask on. Like I don't even mind that. I'm not even gonna stress that.
One thing about me, I can never forgive a performance if you're that bad in the game. I simply can't.
But I will counter this because I'm a Bruno fan. I can't lie. I'm a Bruno fan.
Okay.
But like Liverpool haven't beat United this season. That's 3 games, which is a draws, and you put them out of the FA Cup,
which is a fair point. But if you look at the reason why, because it goes back to the point that Goats just made. One of the reasons that Liverpool's struggling to finish is because they're missing Jota badly. He's your best finisher, and for me, he's a better finisher than Salah. But Salah gets chances.
What?
I'm not saying that you're wrong on that. What I would say though, in terms of what I saw from Liverpool when they played United was just pure incompetence, just pure unadulterated incompetence. Yeah, because for you to lose the FA Cup game in the manner that you lost that game, and then to like a couple of weeks later draw the game in a very similar manner, is just incompetence to me. Like, I can't see it in any other way because the players are good enough to not make the decisions that they're making. Sabozo, who was getting all of these plaudits.
So disrespectful, you know.
Listen, the thing is, I'm not really an agenda guy, but I can lean into a little bit of an agenda when the player's in bad form. I'll indulge. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, play in the rain, like, et cetera, et cetera. So with that midfield, right, you've got guys who are empty in the midfield, for no reason. You've got control of the game. Why are you empty in the midfield? And now United are coming on transitions and you're turning the ball over in dangerous areas and there's no one there because they're empty in the midfield trying to get another goal.
But United empty in the midfield every game, so it's easy to play through.
You're easy, nice United, isn't it? You do this every game.
We're so easy. We are the easiest team in the league to play against. Like,
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I simply cannot stress that enough because the problem is,
it's Sheffield.
Sorry,
you're not worse than Sheffield.
No. I said
they are worse since the start of the year.
The easiest team in the league to play against. Why? Because of the 3-1-6 when we're through build up. The problem is, if there's a turnover up and all of our attackers are up, we are in trouble, and it happens every single.
And then
game.
on top of that, you give the ball away.
You give
like,
the ball
on Sunday.
I wasn't concerning myself about United at this point. I was more looking at purely at Liverpool because I saw United against Brentford. So that's the level of performance or side that Liverpool were taking on, you know, in a game that they needed to win. So from my point of view, I didn't see Liverpool going till the end of the season unbeaten. But I think this is a sloppy 2 points drop. Very, very sloppy.
I agree.
Liverpool are going to lose. Liverpool are not
in the first half. Not a single shot against Liverpool in the first half of football.
Okay, but wait. They didn't have a single shot. But I remember because of their poor play, they had 3 or 4 opportunities in the first 15 minutes where they could have transitioned on Liverpool, and Liverpool were extremely open. But because of a wrong pass or they took too long, Man United, if Bruno was quicker in the first 5 minutes with his pass, that was a goal. If he passed the ball quicker to Garnacho was completely through and he would have scored the goal. So I get the thing with me is where I'm a bit annoyed by some of the coverages. Everybody was praising Kobe Mainoo for his performance. Don't get me wrong, Kobe Mainoo on the ball. No. Kobe Mainoo on the ball is really talented. I agree. He's very press resistant. He's very technical. But guys, off the ball, he is a complete liability. I am sorry. He needs.
Did you say Kobe Mainoo?
It's not true, man.
Wilshere? Would you say Jack Wilshere in his prime?
No,
Jack no chance. Is he even a Jack Wilshere at Bolton yet?
Huh?
No, he's not even Jack Wilshere. I'm sorry, Jack Wilshere at Bolton was better than Jack.
Yeah,
Jack.
No, but
I
we
would
we
agree
got to
with
be a bit honest though, man, because he started his career very well. You can't put him up with the complete finish, Jack Wilshere, but you can understand the
I mean,
comparison.
at his age,
The
Jack
style
Wilshere,
of play,
I
the
tell
style of plays
you
are very similar.
I tell you what it is.
No, I disagree. No, this is
I-
this is disrespect, guys. Watch, please. I'm not being a hater. Watch Kobe Mainoo off the ball in terms of his defensive awareness and positioning.
Yeah.
The reason why they're so open is because his defense. He is a component of that. The defensive structure, because he is always in the wrong place. Look at some of Liverpool's counterattacks. He
No.
goes too far forward. Him and
No.
Bruno, in terms of a
that's a tactical instruction, and I keep saying it. It's a tactical instruction. We build up in a 3-1-6. We do it every single game. I promise you.
I can't lie.
promise you. Look at Man United's shape. It's the way. Look, when something happens repetitively, you have to start realizing it's a system thing. This isn't something that the players are doing in their own.
Yes, you can't blame Kobe for that, then, can you?
And that's what I'm saying.
I'm blaming Kobe.
So to say that he's in the wrong position, Kobe
It's
Mainoo
not
is
fair.
tasked with being an 8. So him and Bruno are the most advanced. It's every single game, and then the fullbacks also pushing up to be advanced as well in that build up as well.
No,
so then you say that but then going back to your point about Wilshere, right? Wilshere was a fantastic player. No one's taking that away from him. The reason why a lot of people are turning around to say that Mainoo was better than Kobe Mainoo is because Wilshere was left-footed. A lot of times when you see a lot of left-footed players, a lot of the stuff that they do looks a lot more silkier than a right-footed player. So it's just like Odegaard as an example, because he does it with his left foot, it looks crazy. Do you get what I mean?
No, I hear what you're saying.
Hold on.
That's the only reason Wilshere is.
Let's not compare Mainoo to we're going
Wilshere.
back.
Yeah,
Man, Mainoo's a brand new. He's a young buck.
You know what I mean?
and he's a good player. Like, he's a young buck. He's making mistakes. Let's not do that. Like, Wilshere had his time. He didn't win anything. So let's leave them out of it. Back to
Did he won an FA Cup? He won an FA Cup.
Wilshere,
young player, man. That's it.
No. First of all, Wilshere, because of injuries, didn't succeed. But Wilshere, in my opinion, would have been easily him and Abu Diaby are the two players that I really regret as an Arsenal fan. If they had not had injuries, Wilshere dominated the greatest probably Barcelona team that has ever been in midfield.
We do it. Is that what you brought up? Fiction.
Go ask.
This is like when Robbie Savage. This is like when Robbie Savage said that he was world class for a game because he marked someone who was world class.
Stick him in the Dean Ashton lineup. Let's move on.
No. You are wait. As a Liverpool fan, you're downplaying Wilshere. When the same Liverpool fans, I remember you guys were highlighting, what was his name, Flanagan as being the Liverpool Cafu.
I haven't downplayed Wilshere.
Yeah, I think we're getting wrapped up in something.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. I never said that.
But you know what I will say though, yeah. You see, Wilshere was very press resistant, innit? And I think Kobe is very press resistant. So I understand the similarities, but I will say, yeah, I think the reason why Wilshere was injured so much is because of that play style, because it was a lot more physical then.
Also,
he wasn't professional, guys.
No, but
Wilshere. Why are we talking about Wilshere? Forget Wilshere.
I know.
Let me get back to Kobe. I think Kobe will do better with that press resistant stuff in this modern game.
The
fouls, you get what I mean?
The fouls get called a lot, but also Wilshere as well with his dribble style. He probably took an extra touch too often, which allowed him to get clattered. When maybe if he passed the ball a second earlier, and that was a skill set flaw to me, like that potentially he would have grown out of, but then the injuries. Listen, let's stop talking about Jack Wilshere. You know what I mean?
I just wanted to go back, please, guys. I want you to watch in the next and
I will never spend my free time watching Jack Wilshere.
Forget Jack Wilshere. Forget Jack Wilshere. I want you guys to watch Kobe Mainoo, and I want you to focus not with him on the ball because he's great on the ball. I want you to watch him play in terms of his defensive awareness and his defensive contribution. It's not good yet.
Exactly. Winks dominated. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Harry Winks, who now plays for Leicester City. Okay. Great.
Okay. All right. We're not talking ceilings no more. No, we're talking floors. Floors, not ceilings. All right. I'm on to you.
I mean, okay, but just
have
we
covered Arsenal yesterday yet? Because now Stefan's here. Because Stefan's very. Stefan's a little deflecty in the group chat. Do you know what I mean? He's a. I'll be like, what happened to Arsenal last night? He'll be like, win a trophy.
What happened?
Real bad man.
Wait. First of all, I've never. This is the level Arsenal are at. We get a draw against Bayern.
Oh, bro, we haven't even started. You don't need to give context yet. We haven't even started.
No, this is the Arsenal get a draw against Bayern Munich. People are saying it's a disaster of a performance. This is hilarious to me.
Okay, but Stefan, what people are actually saying is the best Arsenal team in 15 years couldn't beat the worst Bayern team in 15 years.
Fact.
That's what people are saying. And I'm not trying to be disingenuous.
They have no fans. I mean, this is the thing.
Really?
Hold on.
5,000 Bayern Munich fans are going to make a massive difference, folks. Really?
Let's talk facts. Let's talk facts, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's put the facts out of the way, because just a minute ago you were talking about Kobe Mainoo and Wilshere and all of this. That's all opinions. Let's move the opinions out of the way. Let's talk about the facts. The facts of the matter is you're playing at home. Mm-hmm. You're playing. A team had virtually no fans. Do you disagree with these points so far, Stefan?
No, that's okay.
Facts,
that's a slight advantage, but it's not a massive advantage. But okay,
it's not an advantage if you're playing and you've not got your fans behind you. Is that what you're trying to say? Because if that's
in my opinion, if Arsenal had beaten Bayern Munich, Thomas Tuchel isn't going to come out in the press conference and say, "Fuck, we should have had our fans." That was the biggest difference.
What you're doing, Stefan, what you're doing is what my ex-girl used to do, the old bait and switch. I never asked you what do you think Thomas Tuchel would do in that press release.
No,
what I asked you was, is it an advantage if you play in a stadium and you have no fans? Is that a disadvantage or not?
I said it's a slight advantage, but
oh my word! Look, take off.
Be honest with these conversations.
I've got five other facts. Okay.
It's a slight advantage.
It's a big advantage.
Right.
You're not. If Arsenal had beaten Bayern yesterday, I'm sure no Bayern player would have said, "Listen, we could have gotten more out of the game if we had our 5,000 away section." Like, I'm sure that's not going to be the main reason.
But Stefan, what we're doing here is we're creating a favorable environment for Arsenal to play in.
Yeah,
No one's saying it's going to be the definitive factor as to you winning, but they are saying it is adding to a narrative that you should win this game.
Did you see the instance that when in the phase where I think the whistle was blown?
Yeah, we ain't got to that. Wait, slow.
You have 5,000 fans.
We're gonna get Ian,
we ain't got to that. We're gonna marinate him slow.
Yo.
Let me ask you a question, because you dropped off and you support.
No, hey, go.
Hold on, Chinks.
You look shaky there.
I just want you to tell me what your opinion is. Is it a disadvantage, if you play in a stadium where you have no fans? Is it a disadvantage, or is it just a minor? It's nothing. It doesn't mean it doesn't have any impact.
In my opinion.
I'm asking Chinks.
Oh,
man, unplugged the Wi-Fi rather than answer the question. He said, the lights are too bright. He said, I'm done. Okay, so let me just tag on to it. So obviously, taking into account then, this is an Arsenal side, Stefan, this is an Arsenal side. Okay. That
I don't know what happened to my camera,
because they've conceded so few XG, over the last few games as well. So you're in a good position. You've got a full team, full bench, apart from Timber, obviously. Everybody else is there, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
cool.
true.
You go into this game and you are 1-0 up in the game as well. So not only have all of this situation, you've made a good start, you're playing well, you're in control of the game. Okay?
Okay.
Run me through what happens over the next 30 minutes that you come to
I'll
be
tell
2-1
you.
down at home and your defender handballs the ball in the box and you should really give away a penalty at 2-1 down to be 3-1 down. What happens to your
no,
team?
these are all, I'll tell you what happens. It's called Arsenal is the youngest team in the Champions League, and it was simply called it was simply inexperience. And you could see that Saliba and Gabriel played like players that had never played in big games in the Champions League. They played nervous, they played completely to the opposite of how they have played pretty much the whole Premier League season. And they looked cautious and nervous. And David Raya, I would add, David Raya was also the first goal that they scored. One of the major reasons was David Raya created panic by coming out so far into the box. He didn't need to do that. So for me, I mean, if you look at the history of teams that don't have European heritage, like Arsenal, that haven't won the actual Champions League. You look at Man City.
Can we clip that? Can we clip that? What he just said? Can we clip that for future reference? Whenever he's making points?
We don't have Champions League heritage. Yeah, that's true. That's a fact. If you look at,
am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Carry on. You're back.
Yeah, sorry, but yeah, obviously.
Look at me. That's what I said. Arsenal.
What are you? First of all, you're all being hypocrites because you're all criticizing Arsenal for not winning against the shit Bayern side. In the chat, I said Arsenal should beat Bayern. They're crap at the moment, and Arsenal are in great form. It didn't happen. Arsenal drew, and you have a Spurs fan who supports a club that hasn't won a major trophy in 30 years.
No, we can't. Let's stop this though, man. Steph, man. There's no need for that, Steph, man.
Okay, it's like but to me it's hilarious. Like a guy, they're celebrating Arsenal drawing. We have a Liverpool fan who are playing on Thursdays against Atalanta, also saying, "Ha ha ha." Okay, great. Okay.
Do you want me to be happy for Arsenal to try and win the Champions League? Is that what you want me to be?
No. I don't want you to do that.
Okay.
But don't act as if don't laugh at the fact that Arsenal aren't playing some crap team. This is still Bayern Munich. This is still no matter. No, but these players, Kimmich, Müller, these are all players that have a vast Champions League experience.
Everything you're saying to me, I said.
Can I interject? I hear everything you're saying is correct, yeah, Steph. And remember, we're on the same side here. Yeah. But it sounds when you say in the group that we should spank them, and then you should have kept that same energy because that's what they're hitting you with.
I didn't.
But you know what I mean? That's if you wouldn't have said that in the group, they would have nothing to argue with you.
Guys, I said 2-0. I said 2-0 to Arsenal. I didn't. And
that was 2-2, and they're doing gang press against you, and you're messing up. Do you know what I mean? Because all you had to do was because of what you said in the group. Because that's why I don't think there's no WhatsApp of me in the group saying that I think we're going to clear them.
I didn't say. First of all, I didn't say
perfect.
You can go, guys. Go. No. You guys can all can all put jokes. Go check the group. I never said we were gonna spank them. I said we were gonna beat them. In my opinion, 2-0. That was my prediction. How is 2-0 a spanking? How is that a spanking? When did I ever say we were gonna kill it? I said based on current form, Arsenal should beat Bayern Munich. They've been terrible this season.
We all agree. So therefore, Stefan, can you co-sign that this is a bad result then for you, considering?
Yes, it's not a good result. No, it makes it much more difficult. But do I think Arsenal still have a chance in Munich?
Of course, you have a chance.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because from what I watched from Bayern Munich, Arsenal their defense is not very good. Arsenal could get added. And you know what? I think, in my opinion, next week, I think it will suit Arsenal far more for us to be a bit more defensive and a bit more cautious and play on the counterattack. For me, that would be better for us. And maybe the players can use that as experience. Gabriel and Saliba, every time since we've played in the Champions League knockout stages, have been horrendous. They look completely the opposite. If you watch them against Brighton, against Man City in the Premier League, they looked imperious in those games.
Okay.
I mean,
but the thing is that like, but Stefan, you've just said that you've got the youngest team. So basically, you've laid out characteristics to me as to why you are going to flop at the Allianz.
No, not
because there's all the stuff that you're saying. Why should well, when the atmosphere is, because it's gonna be loud at the Allianz, like
for sure.
You had your chance this time with all your fans. They're gonna be loud, These players that you're talking about, young players, let's see how they stand up in this atmosphere. What I saw, Stefan, can I just quickly say what I saw this week against Bayern was I saw your team open up a little bit. You opened up a little bit and played. You didn't do all that Jose Mourinho El Clasico stuff. You tried to play football. You tried to.
But we will. But Jay, we will.
Moved to by a team that had elite transition players. The first time you actually start playing against a team, now you start making a few mistakes. Now your players are out.
Jay, I disagree.
I think there's some bits that are right there, Jay, but I think you're stretching it a bit because I think City are better than Bayern. Well, let me just City are the best team in the world, and they didn't do that to us.
City are not good on the transition. If City doesn't have enough quick players to be able to hurt teams on the transition,
there we go.
It's just impossible for them to do it.
No, I hear what you're saying. But
Ian, what are you talking about? City have Haaland.
City are better than
I say
no, but
I said enough.
It's a losing argument because they don't play profoundly counter-attack football. So it's a losing argument. They're more controlled.
No, Chinks, let's be fully honest yesterday. Bayern didn't score these goals yesterday. Arsenal gave them. The first goal was an absolute. Oh, you can praise Bayern all you want. They played long ball counter-attacking football. Great.
What?
Okay.
Hold on a minute.
What?
How can you say they played long ball when the penalty that they got was a driving run from Sane?
Yes, a driving run.
There wasn't no long ball. Hold on. You said it was a long ball, right? There was the ball was attached to his feet, and he beat two players, right?
Okay, go.
And he got bundled over.
Look at what Neuer did with the ball. He chipped it up, and then he kicked it.
I'm not saying.
Then they played it. They progressed the ball down the wing, bro. And then Sane, he spun Kirill, then he ran through them.
Okay, Ian, I agree. People take me literally. I didn't say that they always.
People use the words that I say at face value.
Sorry to interject, Stefan, because you just said, I said that, you said with Spankum, and you took me very literal.
I didn't say we stop making shit up.
Spanking.
Guys, stop making shit up.
What I'm trying to highlight is you have to be a bit consistent. Because if you notice, everybody's quiet. When you was talking, everyone was quiet, and then you said the long ball statement. Then everybody jumped because they're just waiting for you to say something mad. You know what I mean? And then you always give it to them.
Okay. If they allowed me to explain, I didn't say that by me saying that they played long ball, I don't mean they literally played long ball every single time.
My mistake.
Sometimes they would try and play it out, and sometimes it would succeed. But that goal that you said, Leroy Sané ran through three players, man. That was horrific. That a normal Arsenal team that is considered currently the best or one of the best defensive teams in Europe, the Premier League Arsenal team that you see, that would have never happened. So the fact that Arsenal,
how many Leroy Sané's have run at you in the last 2 months?
Exactly.
Oh my God,
Stefan, you have to appreciate. Look, Stefan,
the
problem is that you're saying that you gave them the goals, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Hold on a minute. The reason why that's offensive is when Kwanzaa back passed to Bruno and Bruno executed brilliantly. That's us giving a goal away. When Liverpool played Arsenal, right, and Van Dijk jumped over the ball and Martinelli tapped it into an empty net. That's us giving you a goal. But Sane beating three players, getting into a shooting position and almost scoring.
Why did he?
Which is 1 minute, bro. Which is difficult for Premier League. It's difficult for footballers at a high level to do, which is why we rarely ever see people doing that. right?
Jokes,
That
okay.
is not you giving it to them. That's him forcing the agenda to the point where he causes panic. You didn't give him the goal. They took the goal. They created it.
Okay, okay.
Even the Raya mistake. Bayern still had to do 4 or 5 passes after that. It wasn't like Raya kicked the ball to their attacker and he put it in the net. Bayern did a nice little move to create the chance. And one could argue, Raya, maybe move your feet a little bit quicker. Maybe you saved that. But you didn't give Bayern a goal. You made a mistake.
Are you guys serious right now?
Okay, so Stefan. Okay, let me bring it back. Let me land with this point. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember the other chance that Sane had where he ran through and instead of shooting, he took a touch and tried to cut back inside? It was the same type of transitional move that led to the first goal.
But he ran through.
This is for you.
He ran through, and Ben White.
Look, it's offensive to say that you gave Bayern goals. They create. It was a pattern.
They didn't create shit. All they did was wait for us to make a mistake, which we did because we were nervous.
I'm going to break down the football yesterday. Yes, I'll tell you exactly what Bayern did.
Hold on quickly.
Wait.
Stefan, you said something factually incorrect.
I'll give you facts. I gave you facts yesterday from Bayern shape. Bayern sat back in a 4-4-2. Yeah. Whenever you try to come up, play out from the back, they committed their wingers forward. If the winger wasn't able to force a mistake in any capacity, Gnabry ran back, Sane ran back. It's as simple as that. They didn't they counter pressed you yesterday, yeah, and they didn't go full throttle, which is exactly why. With the rest of the Kane and Musiala at the first line of defense, if they weren't able to force a mistake, and Gnabry and Sane couldn't force a mistake, they didn't.
Sane did well doing it. Different. He blocked off twice and
blocked off passing lanes. That's what they had to do. They understand that Arsenal, your players are not more than 10, 15 yards apart. It's easy for you to get your patterns going. They didn't have to. They didn't have to cut out. They didn't have to win it. They didn't have to do that. That's the point.
We played yesterday. I just wanted to. I haven't missed an Arsenal game in like 6 years. Okay. Yesterday we played to about 30 to 40% of our usual level. The misplaced passes, the slowness, the extra touches, and to Destiny, the guy that keeps saying Eric Dyer played at center back. Yes, he did, and because of Eric Dyer, we scored 2 goals. He was shit against Saka and backed off like he did at Spurs. And for the second goal, he got completely bamboozled by Gabriel Jesus and gave away his space to Trossard to score. So yes, Eric Dyer, and he proved it yesterday that he is. So I just want to point out.
One big super chat.
Let me answer because everybody attacked my point about we gave the goals to Bayern Munich. I am sorry, Leroy Sané's run was good, but if you're any serious team, to allow him to run from pretty much almost our halfway line to go past 3-4 players, that is not good play. That is poor defensive play. Even if somebody should have either taken him out or tackled him. The fact that we all backed off of him, for some reason, I do not know why, they were super passive in that instance. Gabriel, who's never passive, backed off of him. Everybody backed off and kept giving him space and more running speed to gather. That is on the defense. I'm not saying Leroy Sané wasn't good in that moment. But if you're telling me that Arsenal couldn't have done something better in that structure and Leroy Sané made this amazing play, I'm sorry, it wasn't. Arsenal backed off. They let him run. The only thing that he's actually his biggest strength, and they let it, instead of activating, taking him out like Atletico Madrid would have done, something more. See, that's experience. The experienced player would have said, fuck it, I'm going to take a yellow card, take this guy out. So then we don't risk some sort of attack. That is my point. The first goal, really? You're going to say the first goal was some good attack? Really? That was a breakdown in defensive structure where everybody was all over the place. And then Gnabry used the actual space from the breakdown of structure, broke through, and then scored. How is that a good attack? He took the mistake from Arsenal and they immediately broke and scored. That's the mistake.
Hold on. Before you jump in, let's read out the super chat and then you can come in. So super chat is from Murray from Tottenham away, and he says, Stefan, Bayern has quality wingers. Sane was terrorizing You're
Pause, man.
listen,
That's crazy.
Tell me. Okay,
He's an antagonist.
If you was okay, it's not me. Tell me, apart from Sané's penalty, apart from that, tell me another shot or chance that Sané created or had against Bayern Munich. Tell me what Harry Kane did.
No, you know, let me go.
Harry Kane.
You know what I think it is?
Let's patiently. I know Harry Kane. We know what Harry Kane was doing.
No, but it's even taking away the penalty from
he scored a penalty.
Flawless. I'm telling you, like Harry Kane's game yesterday was flawless, bro.
Yeah, apart from the fact,
Flawless,
yeah,
wait,
apart from the fact that he should have gone.
Let me be the bridge. Let me be the bridge, please.
Okay,
let me be the bridge.
Should have gone a red card yesterday.
Let me be the bridge. Pause.
You know, Saliba, he lost 5 duels yesterday.
He changed that didn't work, bro.
On the pitch.
Saliba had a shit game here.
So just get to them first and it's a back and forth.
That was a result of Kane.
So cool. Can I go? Because
oh,
Jesus. Let me offer an olive branch.
Sorry.
Go.
Let me offer an olive branch. Yeah, I think
Lost him again.
Okay, I thought you booted them off. I thought that was a bit harsh. Jesus.
Yes.
You scared me. Let me offer an olive branch and be the bridge, yeah, because as we can see, I'm the biracial one here, innit? Not everything's always black or white. So let me offer a bridge to you lot, yeah. So, because our defense is so good, typically speaking, of how we played this season, yeah, you might be able to see why it makes sense for Bayern to play for certain particular things in order to beat us. Like, do you know what I mean? Because we're so good structurally, defensively, they may not be able to play typically how they play and just get through us, if you know what I mean. So you can highlight the two things that are consistent. You can't only blame it on us not defending to our levels when they kind of cause it. So we're both doing like you're saying they're giving Bayern too much credit, but then you think they're taking away too much credit from Arsenal. It's way more middle. I think the reason why we played the way we played, not to our regular level, is because they played so well.
No,
do you get what I mean?
Do you believe that Arsenal played badly? Arsenal played badly yesterday? Let me throw that question out to you. Do you believe Arsenal actually played badly yesterday?
Okay, Ian, I'm gonna ask you as a neutral viewer, as a neutral who's watched Arsenal in the Premier League, who's watched us concede like 6 shots on target or 7 in 10 games, who's watched our defense compared to Liverpool or Man City, our conceded XG is like 8 points or 8 points, or what was it? We're at 4.3. They're each at 12 or 13. We have conceded the least. We are one of the best defensive teams. Did you watching that game yesterday and watching the performance of Saliba and Gabriel? Was that the typical performance of Saliba and Gabriel? The nervousness, the amount of times Saliba kicked the ball away and gave it back to Bayern or Gabriel. Okay. Please tell me honestly.
So I'll tell you exactly what it was. Yesterday's performance from Arsenal wasn't anything that I didn't expect from Arsenal. I expect this from Arsenal based on the way you. Let me finish. Let me land on this one. Yeah. Okay. You played how you played your normal game yesterday. The difference between Bayern and the teams that you play in the Premier League is that they have players that can hurt you. They have world-class talent. When you have look yesterday, I think one of the performances that was outshone yesterday was from Goretzka and Lima. They were the two best players on the pitch.
I would say Lima.
Let me break it down for you. Yesterday, they didn't give your midfield a break. They won virtually every second ball, bro.
But Rice was poor. Rice had his worst game.
No. But you're saying Rice was poor. It's a result of them making him look poor. That's the point.
Really?
That's the point.
You're gonna wait. You're Declan Rice, and you've had a good game, and you're gonna let fucking Konrad Laimer and Goretzka.
The thing is, look, football does not work in the sense because you've got a name in football that now automatically translates as you're gonna have a better game than the person that's following you. As an example, I'll give you a perfect example. Some seasons ago, when I think it was when we played Chelsea in the Premier League under Mourinho. Ander Herrera was tasked with marking Hazard the whole game. Now, is Hazard a better player than Herrera? Of course he is. but he marked him out of the game. It doesn't necessarily mean because you are a better player in name that you are now all of a sudden that somebody who's got a lesser name than you is now doesn't make you a bad player because the lesser name marks you out of the game. It doesn't work like that. Football doesn't work like that.
You jump back.
I agree. In terms of, I agree. I agree with you.
Hold on, Stefan. Hold on. Let's go read out Mario.
Sane could have made it 3-1.
When could he have made it 3-1? What is this
where he ran through and then Ben White blocked it. When he cut it back,
yes, Ben White defended him. So he could have made it 3-1. What is that?
I can't watch this no more. I can't watch this no more.
Oh, no, Stefan. Hold on, Stefan.
No, this isn't fair. You're going to give him a heart attack.
Hold on. Let me just say this.
Jumping on now. This isn't fair. I'm going to call the police.
When you were talking about Man United not having shots, you said United created a lot of good opportunities and openings, but didn't pull the trigger. Now, when we're talking about Sane having this opportunity, you have now just disregarded that was a chance or opportunity.
Missed opportunity.
When United got in those positions earlier, you were saying they just didn't pull the trigger. Now Sane didn't pull the trigger. You're saying it wasn't a chance. You're being inconsistent here. You're not being consistent with your.
I'm not being inconsistent. I'm not being inconsistent. Man United scored a goal that was disallowed. That is not. Sane never even got close to shooting. Ben White closed him down.
Let Gokes go because they're never going to end.
Sorry, go on, Chins. You've been waiting.
No, go on, Gokes.
The issue is that what you're portraying is that everything that transpired yesterday was because of Arsenal not playing well or Arsenal deficiency. But actually, as I was just saying a moment ago, we saw, those of us that watched the game, saw that right at the end, Kingsley Coman almost scored. And that was from a passage of passing play where it was cut back. Hold on, they worked it down through the middle.
No, he didn't. Partey made a mistake.
Bro, you're not letting anyone speak, bro. You're not letting anyone speak, bro.
Okay, sorry.
This is what happens. You know what I'm trying to say? So at the end of the day, you have to try and listen more, bro. Try and listen more, and it will penetrate. It will penetrate, and you'll feel it. So they played it exactly. No pause. They played through the middle. They went down the wing, cut back. Kingsley Coman got in front of Ben White and got there first. Went through Raya's legs, hit the post. But what you're portraying, what you're saying is, yeah, that's just because I don't know, this person was nervous and that. At the end of the day, give credit where credit's due. The Bayern didn't just lump it forward and take pop shots and just hope for the best. There was some dynamic play in some parts, and at the end of the day, they earned the goals that they got, and they got a draw. Now, I'll just end on this point. Bayern was deficient. They didn't have a right back. They had Kimmich playing at right back. And that's not his natural position.
Yeah, it is. He plays right back for Germany.
No.
Come on, Gokes. Don't pull this shit now. Don't pull this now.
You and I know.
Right back for Germany.
He doesn't play right back for Bayern Munich. You and I both know.
He has to play the right back.
That's the way it started, though, Gokes. I think
that's his position. Kimmich
went from right back to midfield.
He went from right back to midfield.
Yeah.
He's a DM. For the last couple of years, when they've been successful, he's been playing DM. We all know this. This is not like some revolutionary thing I'm saying. We all know that French guy, Bowie, plays at right back and he's injured.
He doesn't. He's the backup right back.
And there's another backup for Rowie as well. Kimmich does not play right back anymore. This is the first season he's been doing that in how long? So we know that they're deficient. We know that Eric Dyer at centre back is a joke, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. For what it's worth, I think that Arsenal will go through. I think they'll win in Germany quite easily, and I think but you won't win the Champions League because you haven't got the minerals. But you will go through, and that's it. But don't take away what Bayern Munich did yesterday and act as if it was all your downfall and they didn't do anything. They just showed up and got lucky.
No, I'm not. Oh my God, guys. You're taking my words too literally. I said for the two goals.
You can't blame us for that.
I said for the two goals that they scored. Yes, I do think that we gave them those goals more than Bayern Munich and the Kingsley Coman chance. Gokes, I completely agree with you. They could have won it at the end. But you say they built up the play. No, they didn't. Go watch. Partey made a terrible header that went backwards, and then it went to the wing, and then they overloaded the wing, and they crossed in, and they scored. So again, another mistake that broke down the whole
Stefan, do you not notice how you explain that after they got the ball?
One of you guys, one of you.
Yeah, one mic.
One sec. So I'm just saying, Stefan, to me, we're kind of saying the same thing. It's just that you ignore, like, it's like you start talking and then you say everything that I'm saying, but you disregard it in terms of the correlation to your point. So you just said Partey made a terrible header, and then you actually said 2 or 3 more sentences as to what happened, which one would classify, I would classify that as Bayern play. Bayern did something positive to create an opportunity, but you attribute that to the mistake, even though there's 5, 6, 7 passes that Bayern do after that mistake.
No, it wasn't. No,
you're not. So to me, you're not giving Bayern enough credit because people give the ball away all the time. Passes go slightly astray all the time.
No, Bayern, I'll give them credit on this. They were ruthless. Every single mistake Arsenal made, they were ruthless. They either scored a goal or got or created a chance, like the Kona. By the Partey one, you say that, oh, they made. No, they didn't. What happened was when Partey made that pass, Ben White was all the way upfield because he didn't think Partey would head the ball backwards towards the wing. And so what happened was after the winger got the ball, he passed it once across the box. That's one pass. And then the guy crossed it in and they hit the post.
Okay, but Stefan, hold on. But 1 second. Did Coleman not run across Gabriel?
Yes.
He did.
So is that not a clear moment where one player has made a better decision than another player and he's won his duel to create that chance to score? So it had nothing. So there was
no. Hold on, Jay. Let me add some text to your point. It's as simple as this. Every goal that's ever been scored is down to some mistake from the defensive team anyway. If everybody's all doing their job to 100% capacity, no one would ever concede. You get what I mean? So it's a thingy argument, and to even add a bit of balance to it, yes, Steph. I can understand what you're saying in terms of how we normally play in every other game we've played, yeah. But these lot don't watch us as much as we watch us. Based solely on I hear you, but based solely on that game that we're talking about.
You weekly.
No, but hear what I'm saying. Based on that game, throw away everything else you know about how we've played before, Steph. Based on that game is what they're making. What they're talking about. They're not saying we're shit or entirely. Just in this particular game, we weren't all we're usually cracked up to be.
We were terrible, yeah. Okay.
And we can't take credit away from Bayern from doing that to us.
No, Bayern,
even if it's not all of them, we have to give them some respect for them making us look like that in a way. Because Deontay Wilder was amazing until he fought Fury.
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but I just want to say this. I was so angry last night after the result that I haven't even watched the highlights of the Real Madrid Man City game. Like that's how pissed off. Like that's how much I didn't want to watch Champions League football.
You know, I'm with you, Steph.
I'm so angry at my team. I'm not going to watch Man City.
No, you know why? Hear me out, Jay. Hear me out, Jay. Yeah, Jay. You know what it is because you know what they're gonna say. You know what they're gonna say. You just know it. You just know you're gonna hear Bukayo and Phil. You just know you're gonna hear it, and I don't want to hear it. I don't see it.
Even though Saka last night, yesterday was really good. I thought Saka his goal was great. I did think Arteta made, even though he changed the game by bringing on Zinchenko and Jesus, I really think they helped. And you could see because they have experience, they look the most confident.
Balanced.
They look. The problem was
they didn't do anything. It was Trossard.
Yeah, Trossard and Jesus.
I disagree with it because I think when Zinchenko came on,
Zinchenko had a lot of misplaced passes yesterday.
I agree, but Zinchenko he had confidence. He calmed play down. He brought the possession into their half. Zinchenko calmed things down, and you could see he had confidence, and that kind of drove the actual team through. Jesus changed the game. Jesus dinked past 3 players and literally put it on a play for Charles. Don't get me wrong, the finish was great, but Jesus made that goal. So he also changed the game. I just think next week he needs to be smart. I would have played. I was worried when I saw Kivior. I think Kivior has done really, really well at left back. I was worried when I saw he was up against. I would have played Tomiyasu. I was shocked that he didn't play. I think that was the only tactical change that I was surprised that Arteta did. So I'm expecting Tomiyasu to play next week. But in terms of, for me, 2-2, at least if this was a Wenger team, guys, we would have gone gung-ho and they would have scored a 3rd goal.
You did. You're bringing it up. So
I thought he was going to leave that take in the group chat.
Wow.
I don't understand why Arsenal fans are thinking they didn't play gung ho. You're 1-0 up at home.
We had more shots.
You're doing it. What's your keeper doing near the halfway line? What's going on?
That's his style.
That's what happened.
Modern day keeper.
He's always on the halfway line, Jay. That's his style, man.
All I'm saying is that in this game, Arsenal had control of the game until they didn't. And that, for me, is because they kept pushing and pushing rather than playing the game that they've been playing over the last few weeks, yeah? They were in control. They didn't need to push as much as they were pushing, and they lost control of the game. Like,
no, Jay, we played the occasion rather than the game. Chink said it.
But we're not necessarily at odds, Stefan. Playing the occasion and not the game, and me saying you lost control, ran away with yourselves.
But
kept on attacking when maybe you should chill a little bit.
No, Jay, we were in control. But what happened was, this is the inexperience. We made the mistake. We made the mistake. They equalized, and we slightly shat ourselves pretty much. We did.
But Stefan, in the group chat before, you said history of Tottenham. Yeah, when Tottenham
he didn't like that.
You said history of Tottenham. I don't remember hearing from you context as to this being a young Tottenham side that hadn't played many European knockout round games and weren't prepared. What I heard from you was history of Tottenham. So me now,
no, it wasn't me that said it. It was
context. I don't want to say excuses because I'm fair. I'm more fair than you. The context that you're offering for Arsenal's performances, one might say you're a little hypocritical. What would you say to that?
Jay, the match, the leg isn't over. You guys got knocked out. Arsenal might still go through. So relax.
Okay.
If we get knocked out,
Stefan, I'll stick a pin in this.
I just want to move it slightly, if I can. I want to move it slightly, if I can. What do we make of the penalty? Because obviously I brought it up. Was it a penalty? Yes or no? I'll start with
no. Please ask Gokes. Please ask Gokes, because he's the Liverpool fan. Harvey Elliott did the same shit against Man United. please ask Gokes. Let's hear what Gokes has to say.
All right. So I definitely 100% think that it was a penalty, and the referee should have given that penalty to Bayern Munich.
However,
caveat now. You know, there's a caveat.
They should have given it to Bayern Munich because he blew the whistle.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper kicked at the whistle, and then Gabriel picked it up. And the referee saw it, by the way. This is where corruption comes in, because there's many decisions that we can argue about and we can say it's subjective. But the referee later on after the game admitted that he saw it. He knew it was a penalty, but he didn't want to give it a penalty for such a childish mistake.
Yes,
which
that was
stinks of corruption, by the way. So, you're very, very, very fortunate, because that would have been 3-1, and that would have been.
What about corruption? Right?
You don't want to answer. You don't want to talk about that point, though. It's like, what about?
Let's move on.
I agree. It should have been a penalty. It was stupidity at its finest. I agree. But what about before that? Was there a red card on Harry Kane? That was
No.
No way.
guys,
To turn around and say that somebody elbowed,
Absolutely
if you're
not.
elbowing someone in
He
the
looked
face,
back.
Gabriel's a
He
tough
looked
guy.
back
He
at
would've
him,
elbowed
waited, and then elbowed him.
No,
No.
he
Elbow
looked
was
back.
Waited, and then elbowed him.
In slow motion,
One or two.
I'll answer that question. I'll answer that question. In slow motion, it looks that way, but I believe
What do
in
you mean
checking
he
his
looked back? He
mirrors.
looked back.
Yeah, it's like moving. It wasn't like
Yes.
I don't believe that.
It wasn't
But
like he
all
looked back
jokes
and went
aside-
like that. He looked back. There was a
all jokes
second
aside, I
delay.
do feel-
There was like a delay.
No, all jokes aside,
Yeah,
I do
he
feel
looked
that.
back. He looked back, waited for Gabriel to initiate contact, and then as he felt him, he's elbowed him. Everybody has played
never,
football.
never,
I have
never.
done this on purpose.
Never.
Other people here have done it. I have elbowed the guy on purpose. I've waited for him.
I've never-
I jumped in there
Well,
and I leave my elbow because I don't like him.
I've
Everybody has done this.
elbowed people by accident because that's how I play. I play like
Of
that.
course,
So
goes.
I'm a bigger guy, so I play like that, and I elbow
Yeah.
people, and I've never done it on purpose. It's literally because
Really,
I'm
jokes?
trying to
You've never looked where the guy is. You've waited for him to come closer to you, and
I
as
hit him
you're
in the
giving
face.
up for the ball, you give him.
No, I hit him in the throat.
A little extra.
I've never done that.
Let's stop saying he didn't raise his arm. His arm was here.
He did.
arm was
He raised
here.
it and did
It
this.
was below
He did
shoulder
this.
height, bro.
If you
You
elbow
know what,
in the face, you go there.
You know what I think
You
it
don't
is?
go there.
Wait, yellow, didn't he?
He went like that, not like that.
He didn't go like
But
that.
hold on,
He
did
went-
he not? But hold on.
No,
You lot, but hold on,
see,
didn't he get?
I wanna-
Didn't he?
I wanna- okay,
Hold on,
I
Steph.
wanna-
Hold on, Steph. Did he not get a yellow?
He got a
Yeah.
yellow, but that was a red
Yes,
card.
what-
That should
I was
have
saying
been
that.
red.
I could
No,
say
he
it's
got
the
a yellow
orange.
no, he got a yellow for something else.
Something
I don't
else.
think
Oh, we didn't get a yellow for that.
No,
I don't think
he got a yellow for the elbow. He got a yellow.
I'm sure he got a yellow for the elbow.
I'll be honest, I don't actually remember, but I'm not
think
sure.
he got a yellow for the
I think he got a
elbow.
yellow for the elbow.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
the
he
elbow,
got a yellow for the
and I could
elbow.
push it, Steph, and say maybe it's an orange.
You
Do
know
you get what I mean? So it can go either way. Do you get what I mean?
By the laws of the game, it's a red card. It's a
About-
red card.
About 3
Hey.
Saturdays ago, right? A guy whacked me in my eye. I had a black eye, and literally, he was like, as soon as he did it, he was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it." And I genuinely believe that. When you're going up for a ball, your hands go like that. You knock people. I don't think Harry Kane did it on purpose. What I will say, I don't believe that he did it on purpose. What I will say though is, I think that Saka's was a penalty. I think that was a penalty, even though
Really?
even though people say he left his leg dangling, I think that Neuer came out.
Stuck out his leg.
I think he came out into no man's land.
He did, but
I think he put his leg out there. And in real time, to me, it seemed like the clearest penalty I've ever seen. But then when I saw the replay, it seemed less clear. But I do still feel like Neuer came out into no man's land, and I feel like Saka got there
Look
first.
at his right leg.
Ian Wright
Look at
and
his right
Ian
leg.
Lee both said no penalty. And then to add a little bit of color on that, if you can bring up the
So why didn't Saka get a yellow card then?
There's other clips of Saka doing the exact same thing.
That,
where
you know,
he's
sorry
left-
to cut.
he's
You know what it
left his
is?
leg in people.
I think that's irrelevant. You know, because to say what Gokes is basically, yeah. I think we're doing this thing, yeah, where we're doing black and white. Gokes is saying it's a penalty, and you're saying it's a dive, innit? I think it's a penalty because there's contact. But to add some context to it, I can see why some people might not give it. So I think it's in the middle. It's not a dive.
Fair
You get
enough.
what I mean? It's not. There's no way that you can tell me that that is a dive because there's contact. But then again, I will say, but hold on, I will say, I can see why some people might not give it. Do you get what I mean? It's in the middle. I don't think it's a. I know it's not a dive. That's all I can say. You can't say that's a dive.
Yeah.
Get what I mean?
So let me give you my quick breakdown on this. So
wait for
the Liverpool one. From the
Let's not do that though, Jay. You know why, Jay? Hold on, Jay. Hold on. Hold on, Jay. Let me. Wait, I just want to show you because your foundation is rocky. Because
no, you don't know what my foundation
but
is.
you're talking about a Liverpool game.
You don't know what I'm using.
Hold on. Let me tell you why, Jay. Hold on,
know
Jay.
what I'm
Jay,
using.
Jay. Hold on.
Let me explain why I'm using the reference, and then you'll see.
Let me go for a minute. Because it's a different referee, it's a different game. So expecting two exact same things from different people is irrelevant.
That's
Speak
fine.
about
That's not the point I was trying to make. So with the Elliott versus the Saka thing, I think from the player's point of view, what each player does in the situation is broadly similar, right? But there's two major differences in how it plays out. One, against Liverpool, Wan-Bissaka makes a slide tackle. Yeah, so he makes a
but he
slide
still
tackle
doesn't
and he
touch him.
doesn't get the ball and he enters Elliot's space.
So
Yeah,
does Neuer.
Elliot,
No.
relax, mate. Elliot is clever with how he puts his foot down in that instance. Now, in this Saka instance, the difference is that Saka is coming into Neuer. Now, Neuer does not enter Saka's space.
That's a
He
fact.
doesn't enter
Watch
Saka's
the
space.
replay.
No, he doesn't enter.
He doesn't
Watch it.
know.
He
He
sticks
doesn't
his
enter.
leg out.
Saka-
Guys, watch the
Saka
replay.
doesn't have to. If Saka's going around him, Saka can get around him. The referee is looking at where the ball goes and he's looking at where Saka's body goes. And he says, that is not natural. Where your body is versus where the ball is versus where Neuer is, I can't say that that's just not a natural collision between two people because you're coming into his space. He's not moved into your space. And that's the biggest difference with the Elliot.
Let me rebuttal that, please. Let me rebuttal that, please.
Elliot,
Yeah.
Because Elliot's put his...
Elliot's irrelevant, bro.
No, I'm explaining you the difference as to why Liverpool was a penalty, and because I believe the referee from last
Yeah, but
night.
it's different referees, though.
No, but the
Do you know what I
referee from
mean?
last
So
night
it's irrelevant.
Bro, I'm saying the referee from last night would also have given that Elliot penalty.
But Jay, can I ask
Wait,
you?
hold on, Steph.
can I
Hold on,
ask
Steph.
you
No, wait.
one
Let me respond directly to what he said. Yeah, you're saying that Neuer and Saka entered each other's space. That's irrelevant. They're both going for the ball, and Saka made it to the ball
Saka's got
first.
control
So
of the ball.
wait. Saka got to the ball first. So there's
Saka
no way.
has control of the ball.
Wait.
He does
There's
have
no way
control.
that Neuer. There's no way that Neuer was there first if Saka got to the ball first.
Saka has control of the ball.
No, but you just said Saka entered Neuer's space and Neuer
Yes,
didn't enter Saka's space.
because
Saka got to the ball first.
when
So that's
Neuer comes out, when Neuer stood, yeah, as in he is in his
So you said
space.
stood.
No, when Neuer gets to where he is, he's
But-
where
but-
he is.
But
It's
by
not
the
like
time
he's
he gets
pushing out
there,
and colliding with you, he stood where he stood. You then you can't.
you know, he was about to say it again, but you stopped because you know it's wrong.
No,
Saka
it's not
got to the
wrong.
ball
I'm trying to
first.
explain
Saka
it to
got
you,
to the
Bruno.
ball first. So there's no
No, it's
way
not,
that
but
Saka
it's not-
has got
but
into
I'm
Neuer's
not-
space.
Nobody is saying
No, but you're
Saka
talking
doesn't
about
have
Saka.
control of the
Neuer
ball.
on space,
Saka has control of the ball.
which
Nobody's
means he got
denying
to
that.
the ball first.
Saka's got
So there's
control
no
of the ball.
way that
I'm not
Neuer.
arguing that.
Well, I'm arguing your point of saying that Saka got into Neuer's space when Saka got to the ball first.
Saka is
So
in-
that's proof.
Right, Saka is in Neuer's space. Saka's
Oh
in
my-
Neuer's space.
What do you mean by in his?
Jay,
Do you mean?
Neuer came out at full pace, yeah, so, towards the
And
edge
then
of the box.
stopped.
Hold on a minute. The reason he stopped.
No, he stuck out his leg.
Hold on a minute. The reason he stopped, you can clearly see that he made a calculation and he said, "I'm not going to get there before Saka gets there."
Yes.
Otherwise, as a goalkeeper, he would have
Yeah.
went down with his hands and he
Yeah.
would have smothered the ball.
Yeah.
So when you're saying he stopped,
Yeah.
it's not like it's a corner and he stood there and he's been
Yeah.
bundled over.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
run out and he said, "Shit, I'm not getting there," and that's
Yeah.
why he stopped.
Because
Saka got there first.
No disagreement with that point so far, yeah.
Because
That hasn't changed anything at the end of it, though. He stopped, and now he's stopped. The question is, when Saka collides with him, is Neuer making a genuine attempt to get the ball, or is he blocking Saka? And I
No,
do not
Jay,
think
I just
made a genuine
I
attempt.
just-
to get the
No,
ball,
hold on, Steph, because
or
you're gonna.
he's blocking Saka.
Chinks, you're
You're gonna get led down the tangent of fuckery. Let me just nip this in the bud quickly. Is it Saka's job to get out of the way of Neuer? Is that his
Is
job?
it Neuer's job to get out of the way of Saka?
Yes, because you're gonna give away a penalty if you don't.
No, because Saka's running into him.
Bro, you're making it about what it's not about. Was there contact?
No.
Was there contact?
Okay, Jay,
Was
Jay,
there
look at where-
contact?
Okay, look at where.
Was
look
there
at where
contact?
Saka kicks in.
Wait a minute. Was there contact?
Yeah, there was
If
contact.
there's contact and someone has the ball and someone don't, is it not a foul?
Not necessarily.
Oh, we're being silly now then.
No,
Let's
we're
forget
not.
it then.
wait,
We're being
wait,
silly
let
now.
me
Not
ask
at all,
this.
bro.
Wait,
every
let me.
contact in the box is a
I
foul.
just Jay, because you brought up Harvey Elliott. Go watch the Harvey Elliott penalty. Although I agree with you that the way Harvey Elliott did it than Saka did look much more obvious in terms of initiating the contact.
That's
But
the
if
point.
you wait, but if you watch the one beside, and the fact that it's a sliding tackle made it even more egregious per se. I agree with you on that. However, if you watch the Harvey Elliott tackle and you compare it to the Saka one has far more. The Harvey Elliott one has no contact. The guy doesn't. Wan-Bissaka doesn't touch Harvey Elliott. Go watch. He jumps over his foot His foot is in between his
Okay,
legs.
you
Go,
just-
go,
you-
go.
Bowen,
Ash,
So there's no
Ash,
contact.
Ash, can you show me quickly what leg does Saka kick of Neuer?
Okay,
Does he kick his left leg or his right leg?
Okay,
Because
wait.
the leg that Neuer dangles out, is that the leg that he kicks, or
It's
is
his
it the
right
other
leg.
leg?
It's right leg.
It's his right leg. So
It's
wait,
right.
Jay, I just
But
want to
why is he
ask you.
kicking his right leg? That doesn't make sense.
Okay, wait, Jay. I just want to give you this hypothetical. Have you ever thought about the fact that maybe Manuel Neuer thought, okay, I'm gonna get to the ball, and as he got to the ball with his right leg, he slightly tried to get the ball because you could tell he extends his leg forward. And yes, Saka does try and move, but he does extend, he does move forward with his leg, and Saka gets ahead of the ball. Have you not thought that then, because Saka wins the ball, he's now within Saka's space? So he pretty much allows for Saka to initiate contact.
So for me, there's no logical reason why.
Look at his leg.
Listen. If Neuer's clipped Saka, he's got to be taking his left leg out.
Look at his right leg. Look at his right leg.
Shifts the ball.
Are you gonna miss the super chat? There's a super chat, Ash.
Why is Saka's leg out there? Why is Saka's leg all the way out to the right when the ball's going to the left? You don't run like that.
Because he's anticipating contact.
Why is his leg? He's left his leg in, thinking that Neuer's going to stick his leg further out, and he doesn't.
But Neuer sticks his leg out. Neuer sticks his leg out.
He doesn't kick that leg. He doesn't touch that leg. The leg that's out right now doesn't touch Saka.
Super chat from G Mars, guys. Super chat from G Mars. Yo, did Henry and Righty say no pen?
Yeah.
Yeah, saying why did he? And you know what I wanted? I'm glad you did this, yeah. So I want us to keep the same energy throughout everything we ever hear Ian Wright and Henry say about Arsenal. So the fact you're going to refer to them now when they say something against us, whenever they ever say anything for us, that is the Lord's word. Are we all in agreement with that?
No, but I'm just saying, like, just run this a little bit, Ash, because I just want to see finally.
And then I want to hear from Ian, because Ian was about to say something, right?
Sorry,
that was when I saw that super chat pop up on the screen. That is exactly what I said. Ian Wright and Henry have both said no penalty.
No,
when I look at the incident, right?
No, man.
Okay. So
when I look at that incident,
let Ian talk. Go on, Ian. Sorry.
When I look at that incident, I look at the way Saka leans his leg out. That's an unnatural position for your body to be in. That's a fact. Like the way he threw his leg into Neuer's leg, he was anticipating the contact to come. But because
it's gamesmanship.
No, and the thing is, he's well within his rights to do that. However, it is for me when I look at that incident, especially forget slow-mo. I'm talking about in real time. When I look at that incident, I see Saka diving. That's my opinion. That's
I think that's a bit harsh.
His leg near enough touched Neuer's knee. Why was it up there?
Guys, is he jumping?
Yeah, can you tell me?
Is he jumping? Because one foot's planted on the floor, but both feet are in the air. Is that natural? I just want to ask.
It's not a natural position. He literally jumped into it.
It's not a dive, but I think I can give you he's playing for it.
Of course,
yeah.
I'll tell you
Do you
what.
get what I mean? And
It's just not being
I don't know if
cute
you guys have seen
That's
it.
not
I think the fact that he's playing for it doesn't make it not a penalty. That's all my contention.
Guys, give me 1 minute. I'll give you
plug something afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. That's not a penalty.
Pause. I'm gonna plug something afterwards. Pause. But there's someone on Twitter shown like two different instances, where Saka has done exactly the same thing. This is like I feel like he's rehearsed it. I feel like he's rehearsed it.
Jamie, okay, but he's learned from Jamie Vardy used to do this like
no, but
Jamie Vardy would do this all the time. Jamie Vardy,
you constantly let people lead you down a road of nonsense, Steph, and then you get worked up.
No, but I'm just saying,
you, bro.
Saka isn't the only one. Salah dives a lot.
Now you're doing what they do. Now you're doing what they do. You know, you got to rise above it, bro. You got to rise above it, bro.
The final thing is, I have a really good example of something that, in my opinion, that was really debated about. But in my opinion, because of the way the defender defended the actual play, was a clear pen. The Diogo Dalot penalty against Chelsea.
That's irrelevant, man.
If
It's
you
irrelevant,
wait,
man.
I just want to give this example. If you rewatch
But if I didn't like Jay doing it, how can I like you doing it?
Chinks,
man?
wait, Chinks.
It's irrelevant to this situation.
Wait, let me explain. So Diogo Dalot for that penalty gets completely turned and falls back. His body position and everything was, in my opinion, so bad. But if you watch the replay, he barely touches Madueke. I don't think he even touches him. But because the referee sees him and his body position and everything is so bad that you cannot not give it as a pen. And I think the Manuel Neuer one is very similar. Although Saka milks it, Neuer comes out, fucks up, sticks out a leg, and Saka tries to milk it the same way Harvey Elliott did with Wan-Bissaka. I'm telling you guys right now, if that was given as a pen, they would not have checked it on VAR because there was contact, and they would not have said it was. I think it was a 50-50. If they had given it in real time, they would not have checked it. If they had not given it, they would not have also checked it. I think it was that type of a decision. The Harvey Elliott one was given, the Saka one wasn't. That's why I'm not as angry. Some are given, some aren't.
Wake up.
Yes,
Wake up.
I hear anything.
So I want to move on, real quick, because time is pushing on. So I just want to, I know not everyone watched the Man City game, but I have to ask the question. How good is Foden, and is the Haaland criticism fair? That's
Yes.
it's definitely fair because when you, I just want to start, but just by pointing on the Haaland thing, right? The Haaland criticism is very fair because if you look at someone like Lukaku as an example, Lukaku has been slated a lot over the years for his first touch and his lack of presence within the game and helping out in build up and stuff like that. I don't see much of a difference between the likes of Lukaku and, let's say, Haaland in terms of their overall contribution to a game.
Whoa! This is so disrespectful.
I'll tell you the difference now with Haaland, right?
Haaland?
He's going to get every game. Haaland is going to get a lot of chances thrown at him. Put Lukaku in that Man City team. Does he score the same amount of goals?
No, he doesn't.
Absolutely.
No way. Bro, you're disrespectful here. You disrespectful.
Wait. One at a time. I want to hear Gogs, then you Chinks, then I leave Stefan to last. Sorry, Stefan.
I'll tell you what it is. A lot of people downplay Lukaku's achievements over the years. Yeah, notwithstanding,
we're not doing that.
He was the same guy, the same guy that scored 17 goals at West Bromwich Albion when he was what 19, 20 or whatever he was.
All right, sorry to cut in here, but Bentner scored 18 at Birmingham.
I was gonna say, how many did Saido Berahino score?
And then thereafter what? Then thereafter what? Lukaku's done it every single year on year. Like, and people talk down on him as though he's a terrible player. Like, he's doing exactly the same thing as Haaland can do. He's just getting less opportunity to do so. It's a difference.
Gogs.
Go on, Gogs.
I don't know, Ian. I can tell Ian knows what he's talking about tonight, so I respect his opinion. But I think that you and Stefan should get a room together with that love. It's wild, bro. It's wild. Like
Gogs, come on, Gogs.
Hold on. Haaland compared to Lukaku, I've seen Haaland fly through the air with his foot like this,
like Michael Jordan. Yeah,
no, like his foot, like Bruce Lee. Yeah,
To
finish, to make a finish. I've seen Haaland run from near enough the halfway line, muscle people out the way, while carrying the ball, muscling people that way, and still get a shot off and score in the bottom corner. You can't compare him to Lukaku, although Lukaku is good.
Lukaku's good.
You can't compare the two. Haaland's much better, and I'd say that if you want to put them down in world football, I don't think there's maybe 3 strikers better than Haaland. Although I do feel like he could do more, but I think he suits Man City style of play. They don't really need a Salah who's gonna do everything but put the ball in the back of the net. They need someone who's got laser focus in and around the box and who's a marksman, kind of like Aguero was pretty much, but a new age Aguero. And I think the criticism is a bit unfair in regards to Foden. Just to answer the question while I'm at it, this guy is exceptional talent, like really, really I was late to the party in terms of rating him. I thought he was very inconsistent. I think about Kevin De Bruyne. I thought he often didn't show up in big games. Like, I think that Kevin De Bruyne, by the way, doesn't show up in really, really big games, although he is probably the best player in the Premiership. Big games he's notoriously missing, and I felt the same way about Foden until very, very recently. But he's gone from strength to strength. So I rate both of them in different ways.
And Jinx?
And I think I'm in agreement with majority of what he said, to be honest. The only thing I will add about the Haaland part, I think it's haterism from other fans trying to make themselves feel better by just having a go at him, because we'd all take him at our teams in a heartbeat. And this is why, to align with my brother Steph for once, this is why I get so annoyed with the Martinelli disrespect here. And people say he's trash and they compare him to these players and they always want to do it by numbers. Haaland is doing what he's told to do in the system he's within. He's not supposed to come and get involved with the play and do all that stuff. He offers more by stretching the team. Do you get what I'm saying? Because if you go back and watch him play at Dortmund, he'd do hold-up play, he'd get involved, he'd do a lot more. So due to what they're asking him to do in his specific team, they're crucifying him for it. Do you get what I mean? The same way Martinelli's told to stay extra wide and run at people, people want to compare him with Rashford's numbers and say Rashford's better than him, but discredit what he's being asked to do in the team. Like,
would you say the same about Martinelli versus like maybe a Cole Palmer? He also plays quite wide as well. Would you say
he's got a bit more freedom, I'd say. But I'm not going to do this thing where people say, "Oh, one's amazing and one's trash." Cole Palmer.
Half of his goals are penalties. Jesus.
No, but you know what? Sorry to cut you, Steph, because you know what I hate? Because I hate when people use that against Saka, because you can't use it against him because he's the best penalty taker in his team. And I hate when people diminish Saka with that, so I can't let you do that to Palmer.
No,
I'm not.
Okay.
You're going to say that he's overrated, but we can. What does that even mean? Anyone can say anyone's overrated.
He's overrated. He's overrated because he's British, so he has 6 good months, and suddenly he's, the next Maradona. Because it's British media to just. They did this shit with Conor Gallagher 2 seasons ago when he had.
That's the first time I've agreed with you all night.
Like habits.
That's the first time.
What's his name?
But didn't your
Harvey Elliott? Harvey Elliott. Another example. Harvey Elliott.
But Stefan, didn't you guys do it with?
Because you don't want Havertz out of the team. I remember that. And Chinks is looking down at his keyboard. You lot were telling me that Havertz was terrible. He was the worst signing. He was awful.
No, Ash, defend me, please.
All of a sudden, it's the glue that you've been missing.
No, hold on. I don't even. Please, Ash, defend me, please.
Yeah, no.
Because the amount of Havertz, please.
From early, bro. From early.
Listen, guys. Listen. If Havertz was stock and I was a stockbroker, I would be a billionaire because I backed Havertz when he was shit.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah,
these guys are liars.
How am I lying? Ash, how am I lying?
I'll tell you straight like that. You guys are lying on Eid, man.
This is
Gokes.
Ash. How am I lying?
You know what, Gokes? Yeah, 9 times out of 10, you're 100% correct because I'm in the fan base hearing it. But I'm telling you, I am the 1 out of 10. I have video evidence.
Yeah, cool.
Evidence.
Always the 1 out of 10. I always got a different stream. It's always the 1 out of 10 Arsenal fan.
Was you there when I was getting attacked for Havertz? Was he there, Ash?
I was not. Chinks, listen, you're an honourable man. But what I just want to say is that, listen, first of all, I'm not a Chelsea fan, and people know I slander Chelsea so much. But the thing with what Cole Palmer's done is phenomenal. It's okay to give someone their flowers and just be like, here's your flowers, and let me see if you continue this form next season.
There you go.
And then just shut up because I don't want to come across. Because the thing is that what people don't understand is it's very, very difficult to tell the difference between a good player in excellent form and an excellent player in good form.
Mm.
Very hard. Like, and that's what scouts are paid big bucks to do. The normal uneducated fan, they can't tell. They genuinely can't. Most fans, they can't tell. So on Cole Palmer, I don't know whether or not, because I remember when Bruno first came, and what Bruno did when he first came and what Cole Palmer's done is very similar. Very, very similar.
No, it's not.
What?
Yes, it is.
No
What
way.
do you
What?
mean?
Bruno's
Yes.
numbers are crazy.
Bruno's
Like,
numbers
they're
when he first came are identical to Cole Palmer's numbers when he first when he
Okay, so-
Please,
so-
this
okay,
is
but-
what I
okay,
mean.
I'll
This
tell you
is
what
what
the
I
difference-
mean.
I'll tell you what the difference is with Bruno, right? So
There's
when
no
we-
difference, bro. There's no difference. Honestly, there's
No,
no difference. Like,
I'll-
if you actually watch Cole Palmer, if you actually watch him play, he still has a lot of bad decision making. He shoots when he should pass. He passes when he
He's
should
lazy.
shoot.
He's lazy
So I'm
off
saying
the ball.
he's not completely there yet as a player. But I'm trying to say, what are you telling me is the difference between Bruno? Because don't forget, Bruno was winning you games single-handedly when he first joined United. So what's the difference between Bruno at United in the first 6 to 12 months and Cole Palmer at Chelsea? In your
Bruno
opinion?
got them top three.
I'll point out one thing when it comes to Bruno, right? And I say this to all United fans all the time. If you look at what Bruno was tasked with doing when he first came to Man United, it's very similar to what Coutinho, but prior to the season prior to them selling him to Barcelona, everything went through him, and he was almost playing like a shadow striker. The moment you pulled him back a little bit more, everything goes through him. He was the playmaker. He was the 6. He was the 8. He was everywhere on the pitch that rather than staying tasked with one specific place. Everything went through him, which is why his numbers were so good. Look, I saw this season. I've seen Bruno pass a ball from 6 yards away to Scott McTominay's eyebrow and get an assist up the back of that. That is not an assist. This is the point. The problem is that you can hit square balls now in football, and it's now deemed an assist because you played a square ball. It wasn't like a through ball. It wasn't nothing crazy. This is the problem with football is that people are so focused on numbers. And what it looks like. If you look, one of the best players in the Premier League right now for me is Bernardo Silva, and he will never get the sort of praise that he deserves.
You're lucky at Ian. You're lucky that I like you, because most people, if they took my point and went on this level of tangent, to give themselves a defense from the indefensible, but I like you. So, the point generally.
The point I was making about Bruno is that he was basically playing as a shadow striker, and for me, if you're up there all the time at all times and everything pretty much goes through you, your numbers are gonna look like that because Man United didn't take any risk prior to Bruno. We didn't have a creative player.
Come on, man.
Prior to Bruno, we had Andreas Pereira.
And I'm not going to dispute. I'm not going to dispute. I'm not going to dispute massively how Bruno came to accumulate those numbers. My point is merely more that when you have the penalties that inflate it, then you get the assists and you have good performances mixed in. The culmination of it at the end of it is wow. Look at how amazing this player has been this season.
But he was amazing.
Bruno, the difference is Palmer has good performances. Bruno doesn't.
Bruno doesn't. I'm just going to head out, my brothers. Again, thank you all for your engagement. Nice chatting to you. Speak to you soon, man. Take care.
Much luck, bro.
In a bit,
bro.
Cool.
Guys, I can't believe this disrespect towards Bruno. Bruno for 2.5 seasons at Man United, playing with Scott McTominay and like shit. Like, sorry, Ian, I might be a fan.
No, bro.
He created the most chances in Europe, more chances than Kevin De Bruyne, and you're comparing him to some guy that's had a good 4 or 5 months, and only that he took a Man United side that were completely dead in the dumps when he signed for them and got them a 3rd place finish and then a 2nd place finish where he was the key factor. This guy's biggest rival right now is finishing 10th ahead of Wolves. There's no pressure playing at Chelsea. He's the main guy there. He takes all the penalties. So like Bruno took Man United.
Sorry, hold on, Steph. So hold on, Ian, was you in agreement with Jay or not? Because I'm confused now.
About Bruno, what being
and
what was the original point?
I thought you was disagreeing with Jay, or was you? Because Jay was saying that there's.
So what I was saying is basically everything pretty much went through Bruno. Whereas at Chelsea, it's not like that.
Oh, so yeah, you're agreeing with Steph then, basically.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm
A
lost.
little
How
bit
did
different.
wait,
You know, it's
wait, no, wait. How did
me.
Bruno come into a good environment when you were? I remember you were dead in the dumps. You had just lost to Newcastle, a terrible
Yeah.
Newcastle team, 1-0
1-0,
away,
yeah, I remember.
and you were 6th, I think, or 7th.
Timing, eh?
Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah. Speaking of, you were actually. I remember who scored. It was Matty Longstaff with a long range shot.
Matthew Longstaff, who, funny enough, we were actually after at the time, and that
No,
scared
you were after Sean. You were after his brother.
Scared the life out of me. Yeah. That scared the life out of me when we.
Just a quick one. I want to bring Tune into it as well.
Guys, I'm sorry. I have to go also. Thank
you
guys for your time.
Big up.
Take care,
Steph,
Stefan. Good to see you, sir.
Keep fighting a good fight, my bro.
We will prevail. Arsenal will prevail, guys.
Yeah.
Keep hating. Keep hating. Keep hating.
I'm glad you're on my side, you know.
Angel on your shoulder, yeah? The angel you never knew. Hey, I was
get him, Steph! Get him! Go!
Get him. He was that Scrappy. Scrappy dude. Yo, I was gonna ask, just referring back to Haaland question as well, and I was gonna ask you too that the criticism comes from him because not only in that game he had just a mere 6 passes in that game, or was it 6 touches? 6 passes. Yeah. It's not the first time this has happened when he's come against physical defenders.
Yeah,
he's kind of gone missing.
Yeah,
i.e. or e.g. when he played against Arsenal, when he came against Gabriel and Saliba, you couldn't see it, you couldn't find them.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are saying that, you know, you put him against a physical defender like from the 90s. Is Haaland that guy really? If you're checking it, without those goals, what does he really have? Do you know what I'm saying?
So are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Yeah. I think I'll ask. There's a wider point and a more point to you in terms of the physical part. You guys remember what he did to Brantford, right? When he scored that goal. You remember what he's done to a number of defenders before he gets in front of goal. Brantford is 22 years old, about 6'8" or something. I don't know how big he is. There's no problem with Haaland's physical game. I think part of the problem is obviously City don't play as they're very methodical in their possession and their approach play. So it's very difficult it's not like his quick in transitions. Those things I mentioned is when they're quick in transitions and he can be on the shoulder of a striker, barge people off. What they're asking him to do is be a physical presence constantly while players play in and around him all the time, which isn't necessarily the game that he wants. Say that again, sorry?
Like a Nunez, you mean? Is that what you mean?
No, because Nunez plays left forward or right forward.
Yeah.
Whereas Haaland's he's almost like the modern day target man, but a modern day target man is having to do all these other things. Right. I think the other thing though is I'm surprised, especially when professionals are saying it. Oh, he hasn't got these other aspects of this other game. I think I was here last time where people were saying about, for instance, comparing him to Isak. But do we want every striker to be the same like as every other striker, or every other midfielder to be the same like? Don't we want variety and or whatnot? He has 6 to 8 touches in most games and still bangs them in. That's just Haaland. He's just super effective. And I think, especially when it comes from other professionals, people talk about your Owens, your Robbie Fowlers, all that play on the shoulder of the striker. That's what they weren't doing all this Harry Kane stuff, dropping in mid, and he was doing brilliantly against Arsenal, by the way. And dropping in, doing those passes. That's a new thing. That's why people are like, wow. But they see him, they see maybe others, and they're expecting that level of that kind of thing as well. But why? That's just
you got to consider it's the time. So when you think about someone like Shearer, he was playing with Les Ferdinand as an example. So you didn't have to do the drop in like you'd have 2 centre halves versus 2v2. So they didn't have to do as much of that work. If you play as a lone striker now against 2 centre backs, you're always going to lose that battle. Like it's natural. No, so the thing is that you're being asked to now with the more modern day game where you're tasked with doing maybe a 4-3-3 or whatever the case may be, effectively You've got one left inside forward, one right inside forward, and then you've got the lone striker. So naturally, you have to adapt your game a little bit to be able to do more like an Isaac. That's just my opinion.
I don't think Pep is asking him to do that.
Yeah,
I don't think Pep
that's
wants him to drop
instruction.
in at all. I think Pep says stay up there. There are times when
That's exactly
Haaland
what he tells him to do.
wants to drop in, but he
It's
won't. I mean,
tactical
Henri's talked about a time everyone's seen when Pep said stay to this side. The one time in the game he goes to another side or does something different, he gets substituted off. So I don't think Haaland's been asked to do that kind of thing. I'm surprised that Roy Keane, Van der Vaart, I think Van der Vaart is just on that bandwagon of saying League Two. Well, I tell you what, if he's League Two, we might have to start buying players from League Two. If that's the standard that's available to us, we're wasting our time trying to buy all these other world-class players.
They're fans, though. They're fans. No, but they're fans, though.
Ask Roy Keane to break down the game of football. Generally speaking, he has that very old school mentality. He's like get stuck in. Like,
what players does he? What players can from his day? What players would linking up play like Harry Kane were? Van Nistelrooy wasn't doing that.
Yeah, that's a fact. You're right.
Only Bergkamp, innit? Maybe Bergkamp.
Maybe
Bergkamp wasn't considered to be a number 9.
Yeah,
he wasn't a number 9. So what's Roy Keane talking about?
He was a forward, though. He was forward, yes. Toon,
yes.
You know what it is? Obviously, he's an ex-professional, but he's a fan, bro. You know when your team's not doing good, you have to find little joy of putting others down. It's just that. He's a fan first, bro. That's the thing. All it is. And you know what?
That's the thing.
You want to go with the super chat?
And also, yeah, for the football therapy, laughed out loud.
Yeah.
Well done, guys. That's it. But I wanted to kind of swivel the chat because obviously Toon Tactics is here.
Wait, one more thing. Can I say one more thing before you go, Ashia, on Haaland and Foden? Have we ever seen Foden as good as he is this season, as this consistent, as much as he is consistent this year?
In my opinion, I think this is the season where Pep is trusting him a lot more. I think he's been in and out and he's been bleeding them in. So I think this is where we're like, can he do it now? This is where everyone's looking at him. So yeah,
I can't believe this. Can he do it now? He's been doing it. In terms of
the goals he's scoring this season, I think Haaland is a big part of that because, like we've all been saying, he occupies 2 men and he makes the whole back line think, I can't leave this guy unattended. So he creates a lot of space. I don't give a damn about going to jail. Take me to jail. Take me to jail. Lock me up. Go away the key. Go away the key. I ain't afraid to fuck somebody in his ass. Whoa.
No, did he?
You on your own there, bro. Y'all, come on, man. Y'all ain't never been in the shower with a man in a...
I was gonna say,
I was like, whoa.
The one thing I was gonna say about Foden is he's now getting the opportunity to play the De Bruyne role, the fulcrum role, because De Bruyne is, and I think that to me is the biggest material difference this season from other seasons, where even when you saw him against Real Madrid, De Bruyne didn't play. He played. Do you know what I mean? Because he's starting to get to a point where
but De Bruyne was ill though.
I know, but it gave Pep an out because he wants Bernardo, he wants Grealish in this game. He knows Rodri needs a partner in the pivot, so plays Kovacic. That leaves one spot, and De Bruyne being ill made a very difficult decision easy for him. Do you see what I mean? We'll see what happens next week, but it's easier then because then you're probably thinking. It's you know what? Then you're thinking we're going to play Foden and Bernardo because we're at home.
I think the thing is he did it at the top level where you're playing the best team in the world in Real Madrid, and the goal he hit it top bins, and it's not like this is the only big game he's actually turned up and done bits. So for me, I think that's why it stood out because Saka did it first. Saka banged it, and everyone was like, "Oh." Then Foden came, and I was like, "Oh!" It was like, but I love the way they're battling because I said it before. I thought Foden was being played out on the right, he was being played out on the left, and my argument was before: put Foden central, put him in tight spaces, and you'll see the true maverick in him.
Yeah, 100%.
Where in football, like it's not about system sometimes. Sometimes it's just about raw ability, creativity. And that's when you see it when you're being put under pressure.
There's one tournaments. Yeah.
It's one thing to say, stand here, move here, do this, do that. But sometimes this is the reason why we all love the game, because you look for individual brilliances, those little moments. That's why this word's come up, this buzzword that millennials use. Moments. This is the moment.
Moments can be an issue though as well, because I feel like that a lot about Man United players, where they produce moments and never consistent performances. That's a problem. Over the 90-minute period,
So it's about consistency.
Look, I say it because I say it to United fans all the time. Rashford's numbers were amazing last season. No one can take that away from him. But if you looked at Rashford over the course of a 90-minute game, shaky. And they always say, look, the old school phrase, goals win you games. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, if you're not I would rather a player that doesn't produce the goals, like let's say a Bernardo Silva, and gives me a consistent 90-minute performance every single week.
All right,
Sorry. So before you go on, so what's your thoughts on Gabriel Jesus?
I think he's a magnificent player.
But I think you're consistent.
But my issue with Jesus is that I think he's a magnificent. I'm being dead serious. I think he's a magnificent player.
What you just said, he fits that mold. That's why I asked.
Yeah, 100%. But I think that the issue I have with Jesus is that the balance is in there, because he doesn't get, he simply does not get. He's never in the right positions to score goals, and that's where his issue is, because he's always on the side of great build up, but then get in the position to score a goal, and he never even seems to put himself in those positions. Pause.
It's like for me, Jesus is a really interesting one for me, because I think what I found when I speak to people that like Jesus or rate him very highly is that it's the illusion of Jesus rather than the footballer Jesus that we're actually judging. It's when you see his attributes and what he's capable of being, if he puts it together all the time, you extrapolate that and you project that as the image of Jesus, because you're not basing it on his ability, because his ability follows a trend of, hey, this is a starting striker. Actually, this guy doesn't have the attributes we're looking for a striker. Let's play him. Let's play him on the wing. Okay, he's a really good, hard-working winger because we can see that technical ability, but he's not a starting winger, and he's not the 9 we're looking for. And then he goes to another club that's got aspirations of being a top side and everything, and the pattern repeats itself, because that's the kind of player he is. Better in your imagination and idea of him rather than the execution of the player.
I was going to say,
he's like a Firmino.
I was going to say, basically,
that's a good comparison, but I take Pete Bobby over Pete Jesus.
That's a good point. It's a fair point. Guys, I want to move it on real quick, because I do have two tactics here, and we do have a small game with them as Spurs fans.
Small game. Wow. This is the biggest game of this show. This is the biggest game of the season on this show. This is my derby. This is I'm gonna be tuned into this.
Next time we need to plan a watch along or something.
Yeah, we really do,
man.
I'm gonna have a magpie shirt.
My streaming will be exposed when you're celebrating goals 2 minutes before me, because
that's my worst nightmare. My betting app goes off, and I'm like, hold on, no one ain't scored in my game yet.
But yeah, looking at Newcastle versus Spurs, well, what do you think? Like, do you think Newcastle could do? Yeah, could Newcastle could upset Spurs? Obviously, you guys are at home.
So disrespectful.
What's going on here?
I love it.
Serious question.
If Spurs don't win it, I'd be shocked.
I mean,
I'd be shocked.
Listen, I want to hear from the Newcastle fan, because all shows we've been hearing Moki. We're brothers. What are you talking about?
You know,
No, we eat from the same chicken shop. What are you
I'm so surprised to see the side of Ash. Usually he's that calm, diplomatic guy. The Kofi Annan, the UN general man. Like now it's all come up. No, I would say that Tottenham come in as favourites. I did watch the Forest game quite intently because I'm looking at a few players, especially on Forest, around Morgan Gibbs-White and Murillo. But I was also looking at a lot about Tottenham, how you guys play. Really good at how you kind of your wing play, in terms of how you kind of load up the wing play of the guys over there, how you approach it. Very surprised about Basuma and Sarr, but particularly about Basuma's approach to the game and how Forest scored their goal. I say all that to say this, is that there's a lot of good play. I can't understand where on paper I think your midfield should be your strongest part, but it looks like your wingers are your strongest part of the game, which is interesting to see. Obviously, Bentancur and Højbjerg came on, which is another strength in terms of, I know some people rate Højbjerg, some people don't, but I think it's good to have those type of options to be able to come on. You've clearly got depth in your squad, and they helped change the game. Obviously, I like how you press from the front, because I think what Forest wanted to do was to obviously counter-attack, but the problem was Van der Ven is absolutely rapid, and even if you get past Van der Ven, Vicario stays off his line and comes off really, really, really well. So though a lot of those balls became dead balls, they were actually really good passes into the dangerous channels, but you just got really good players. And so Forest had to kind of do a more methodical approach, which somehow got through. And I think Basuma just, I don't know why, all you have to do is just track back a little bit more. And then obviously he got substituted at half time, both him and Sarr, which it's not to say that people can't improve. Obviously, that could be
apparently, man, them are saying that the men were fasting, innit? So that's what they come off half time, had to break their fast and that. No water, no food. Concentration is a bit all over the gaff. I don't know, innit? I don't know. I'm not making excuses.
Yeah,
bro.
I don't know those. I don't know those things. So I expect them to be back in full flow this game. So you guys are heavy favorites. I think for us, brilliant.
Break it down for me. Is this the right lineup, first of all? Because I've got Shaw, I've got Kaminsky at the back and goal.
I can't see just below because it's got Newcastle Spurs preview, so I can't see what you got on the right.
I'll take that off.
Next to Werner.
Yes, let me take that out. Sorry.
Do you reckon Tonali's got a bet on this one?
That's class.
That went down like a lead balloon, just to let you know.
But yeah,
I need to know where you get these tactical iPads from, man.
Don't worry, man. I'll bring you in. We've got Byrne and Shaw playing the two centre backs.
Yes.
He's going to be captain. He's a club captain. Is that right?
Yes, he is right now. Yeah, because all the other captains are injured.
That's right. And then Shaw playing the right side of centre back.
Yes.
I've got Hall as a left back.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And I've got Kraft, because that's what I saw last game. So Kraft. That's your back four. Then Grumero.
Livramento injured.
Say again?
Livramento, is he injured?
He's injured, yes.
Yes.
Oh, wow, you got a lot of injuries as well.
That's my Hall.
You don't know about, okay, yeah.
But Guimaraes playing the DM.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
And then I've got Willock.
Willock's injured. It'll be Anderson.
I see. Okay, we'll take that out in a sec. Barnes, I wasn't sure.
Gordon's fit, right?
Gordon is fit, so it'll be Gordon there. I think.
So he's not suspended then?
No, he was suspended for the game before last. For the game before last.
You're right. So you reckon Gordon will come in, yeah?
So it'll be Gordon, probably Barnes on the bench.
Barnes on the bench. Okay, cool. And then Longstaff, I've got, and then Murphy on the right.
Yeah? Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Cool. Isaac, he's in this position.
He is, yeah.
Cool. What do you expect? How do you expect them to set up? Because obviously I've just got them in a rough 4-3-3, but I've got the wingers hugging the touchline. Is that right? Or do they invert a bit more? Is it more of a center press, like a mid block?
Well, I think that's where Eddie Howe's going to have to earn his money, because obviously he's playing from home. I wonder if he's going to do the same thing as he did against Wolves. So when we're out of possession, it will be very much a flat 4-5-1 with Isak.
Okay.
Yeah, with Isak on loan. Alone, Gordon typically would not hug he won't be hugging the touchline. Very much a left wing forward, but he's got room to maneuver, if that makes sense.
So it would more look like
it would look like
more like that.
Yeah, Murphy will be on the other side though, but that's okay. Yeah,
so like that then.
Yeah, so Murphy's on the right. Yeah,
and then
Willock's not playing. It will be Gordon. It'll be Gordon on that side.
Murphy starting.
Yeah, Murphy starting.
Yeah, Murphy. Remember last time Murphy got that goal. That's the 6-1.
Yeah.
He did that face, like that Muppet.
Yeah. He seemed to be more shocked that he scored than anything.
Yeah.
Nah, he was shocked that we're 3-0 up after 5 minutes. I think that was. I think that was it.
Is this the shape or am I too?
Yeah. Out of possession. I think you guys will dominate.
Would it be more narrow though, more compact? Because obviously,
yes,
we've got the inverted fullbacks,
and that's the problem. That's the problem.
Spurs' issues. For as good as your football is, you don't dominate games enough.
Are you crazy?
No, I'm talking about Spurs. Spurs don't.
Oh, sorry.
Spurs don't dominate. I love the way Spurs play, but you don't dominate games. Like your games are very helter skelter. Like you don't dominate. You don't dominate possession particularly well. The way you break is insane, and your wingers.
I think our counter press is
the counter press is
our turnovers when we turn over and we're in transition.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane
for it because you look at Werner's pace, you look at Johnson on the wing. They kind of hug the touch lines. They pull out wide.
So when I watched you guys against Forest, it was your cutbacks that were lethal, and I think it was the same thing against West Ham. The bits I saw against West Ham, that's the main worry I have. You guys will take most of the territory in the centre midfield. You push us back, especially out of possession, and you're going to try and I keep on thinking the word I'm thinking of, overload. That's it. Overload the wings with Werner or G. He'll either invert or he'll come on the other side of Werner. Depends how he wants to do it. Depends how you guys do it.
Like that, would you say, like coming inside?
Yeah. So, and the fact that I saw, for instance, Van der Ven scored that goal. I saw not Romero. Who was the other one that scored from a cutback against Forest?
It was Porro.
Porro. Which shows me exactly how forward these guys are. That's insane. But you can do that when you've got the players that you've got, when you're really, really comfortable. So. Grameres, Longstaff are going to have to follow. Those guys, very much when you guys are attacking and pressing. If they can remain disciplined in that area, just do the basics right, then we kind of hurt you on the break. Obviously through Gordon and Isak, it won't be a typical break where they're looking to do a foot race with Van der Ven, because we know how that's going to end. A lot's going to matter about where Gordon picks up the ball or what area of the pitch, or Isak and Gordon pick up the ball for area of the pitch. Gomeros will be given license to push up as well, but it's a lot of pitch to cover at the same time. So I don't know. The other thing I was going to ask you guys, and I think it was made a lot of, I think the last 7 or 8 games, your first halves haven't been great, I think, but your second halves is when you guys burst into life.
Yeah.
Do you know what the reason for that is? And do you expect the same thing for this game?
Do you want to go on that one?
Yeah, I'll run on that.
Guys,
good shoot. Much love, bro.
Take care, sir. Take care.
Big up, man. Love, bro.
So the way I look at it is obviously there's slightly different issues in each game, but we've played a number of teams whose low mid block, high intensity presses, things like that, and the game state as well means that a lot of teams are setting up to negate us. So sometimes in some games we then need to negate the tactics that are negating us.
Yeah,
and sometimes that takes an element of working out. Sometimes the players are just starting slowly. I look at it sometimes in terms of we have the attributes in the squad to beat most teams in the league.
Yes.
But on any given game, the attributes you think you might need for that game might not actually be the attributes you need for that game. And then consequently, it needs to be sorted out. So I also look at it from the point of view of like, I think Spurs fans sometimes have this idealistic look at the team. I like to be a little bit more pragmatic and be like, we're not good enough to dominate teams for 90 minutes at this point. We might not be good enough to dominate teams for even 60 minutes, even next year. It takes time. So I don't to them, they classify a bad performance a lot more critically than me. I can say a performance where we're not penetrating or we're not creating chances, but you're moving the ball well. You've got a good element of you're not conceding any chances. But I'll go on Twitter and the fans will be like, "Oh my God, we are so terrible. Sell this guy, sell this." And I'm more like, "Well, the game's 90 minutes. You know what I mean? You don't have to win the game in the first 8 minutes." So, with that being said, the diddler could be onto something. Because the way I look at it is when we beat you 4-1, I think early in the season, I look at your team and I look at what happened in that game, and I don't see huge fundamental changes from Newcastle. They're not hugely. They might have learned a little bit from the game, but they're not hugely stronger than they were in that game. They haven't gotten. They might even have lost a couple players more from that game. So, from my point of view, I look at that game and I look at your fullbacks, Kraft, Hall. If we overload them, if we expose them, they're going to be in a bit of trouble there. You're going to need your your wingers to really be doubling back to help them, but then that creates the element of you getting pinned in, and that's what I think can happen to you quite easily in this game. Thinking about it, it's like you might drop too deep and then struggle to get out. Fans start to get on the team's back. Players start giving the ball away. I think if you can score first, or if you can start well, pin us back. For me, if Newcastle can score off one of their first attacks or score early, it gives them something to hold on to. It allows us to have to come on to you, gives you more space to play on the break and stuff. But if not, I just see you slowly, just a slow strangulation. You know what I mean? Just slowly squeezing the life out of Newcastle until you turn blue.
Just a quick one as well, too.
Yeah.
What do you think the lessons that you think Eddie learned?
Great question.
At Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, because obviously you lost 4-1.
Yes.
And he played like 100 miles per hour, in my opinion. He played really fast. And Son was causing Trippier all sorts of problems on that left-hand side.
Yeah.
And Livramento had to deal with he had to deal with us on that right-hand side. But like what do you think can
what the fuck is going on in these comments?
I blame Diddy, man. I blame
the diddler's talking directly to you, Chief.
It's bad. It's mad,
no, funny because why
it's that hour.
You not explaining it all eloquently, saying so much context, saying intelligent stuff. Imagine in the comments going tunes getting pipes.
It's just
give it in, bro.
It's gone past midnight. The nightmare creatures have come out, bro.
I big up the chat. Yeah,
big up the chat every time. I hope that there's this type of consistency should Newcastle win, because I'll be here. I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to look at the screen and the chat, and I hope, and we're there. We'll take it from there, I suppose. No, I think what Eddie would have learned is, and I know obviously you're not. There's been a problem for Newcastle all this time, and I think maybe fans. There's two things. Obviously, we're a team in transition, and I always liken it to, you guys ever watch relay racing, and four-way. One of the most critical parts of relay racing is when they pass the baton. It don't matter how fast you run those lanes, the way you exchange that baton could mess up your whole race for you. And that's where Newcastle are in terms of a squad and the team. And so that's what people are trying to don't understand, is that we're going through that change. So yes, on the one hand, we've got Bruno Gomes in our midfield, definitely a top 6 midfielder. Then we've got Sean Longstaff, definitely not a top 6 midfielder. And then also we've got an incredible amount of injuries, which has meant that Eddie Howe has had to shift, put a lot of square pegs in round holes. Where that came from, where that kind of relates to the question you're asking in terms of the Tottenham game, was intensity is our identity in terms of what Newcastle are, and we try to do an intensive. We're still going to play our style. We're talking about Postecoglou. No matter what, Eddie Howe is going to play his style. I don't know why fans are confused about that. They want Eddie to be Conte sometimes, or do this and that. I made up my mind up about what Eddie's going to do 2.5 years ago when we drew 3-3 with Man City. But before that game, everyone was saying we have to defend to the life, 10 men behind the ball. And the guy went toe-to-toe with Man City. And I said, if he can do that with Jamal Lascelles as centre-back, then everything else is everything else that we're going to play the start. The problem is
it sorry to cut you. Is it a case where we played you last time? Were you not in Europe in Champions League?
Yeah. So you caught us in the But yes. So all the injuries, the intensity of the league table. I don't want to take that away because at the same time Spurs played played really, really well. And so I hope that's not in his mind that we only lost because of these other factors rather than what you guys did on the field, which was really, really good at the same time. I don't think he will. I think he's honest and he looks at it. You guys totally dominate the game from start to finish. So how do you negate that? I think part of it is going to have to do what maybe fans at home wouldn't want him to do, which is to drop back 10 yards, 10, 15 yards, which is what happened against Fulham. So Fulham really passed the ball really well, like 1-2 touch football from the attack to midfield, but very quickly to their lines where they I keep on forgetting, they overloaded those wings and did the cutbacks. But Fulham don't have the same cutting edge as you guys, and so we didn't pay the price for it. We ended up obviously beating them, and so that's what happened. So what does Howe learn? Howe learns is that we can be still got at very much. We can be shocked. I think he'll know that anyway. The other side of that for you guys, though, is that we know who we are and where we are. We know what to expect because we've been expecting. We've been getting it all season, and we're still top 8. Overlying metrics are getting better in terms of chance conceded, so we're actually reducing the amount of chances teams are creating now. The problem is, though, people are still scoring the same amount of goals, which lets you know that the quality of players isn't there. But we have what we have, and we are what we are. We are also obviously top 4 in terms of goals scored, top 4, top 3. So our conversion rate is pretty high and pretty good. So you can't just come there and think, that's it. Remember, Man City came over to us and we only lost 3-2, and De Bruyne had to step off the bench, they throw away the crutches and be a De Bruyne and win the game for them. So if that's City, and you're going to get fair amount, probably similar players playing apart from Kraft and others, then you can't. I wouldn't expect you guys to just turn up again and do that. You could do that, but I'm just saying that this is where Newcastle are at. We've been battered and bruised.
So basically, you're comparing us to City. Is that what you're saying?
In the way that I think you guys will take.
Here it comes.
What the actual analogy was that a better team than you came against us, and we played very well against them. So you're not better than Man City. And if they only won 3-2 and they had to take De Bruyne to win that game, you guys don't have De Bruyne coming off the bench. You got Højbjerg. So I would only recommend that you guys take your chances, which you'll get from the cutbacks. If you don't take those chances, we've got killers. We've got one shot, one kill, Mr. Isak, and Gordon, who's also scored a lot of goals. Barnes coming off the bench has been very influential for us, but also the intangibles, which is the crowd. And that's a home game at the end of the day as well. So if the crowd can get behind our team staying 10, 15 yards behind, having to soak up pressure, but then getting you guys on the counter, and the one key thing was Bruno's balls into Isak and Gordon really, really quickly on there. So yeah, that could happen. Do I have to say pause? Okay, pause, everybody.
Nice big Chris Wood.
It's a comment. It's not used to comment. God damn.
Can I ask a question, Ash?
Yeah, go on.
From what you were just saying there, Toon.
Yeah.
You said that you lot are like attacking, innit? And I've been given this whole spill, because I like Eddie Howe. Pause for some reason I just like the guy, innit? So when he got sacked from Bournemouth,
he didn't get sacked. He left.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. When he left Bournemouth, I can't remember where, but I heard that he went to was with Diego Simeone for a while.
He did,
like under his wing, and was like learning stuff from him. So when he came back to Newcastle, I noticed that I thought they were a lot more solid defensively in comparison to how gung ho his Bournemouth team was. So I always thought that he was a very good defensive coach who played defensive at first. But now I've been running with this narrative for so long, it seems to have expired, because you're telling me that you lot are just attacking now, and you ain't got that same defensive solidity anymore.
Yeah. So what do you mean? So what's the question? Are we not as defensively solid?
You're saying attacking. He thought you were defensive. Basically.
I thought you were defensive, or maybe I don't watch you enough. But it seems like
we're not a defensive team. We're not a defensive team.
They're quite narrow. I think their front three presses quite aggressively. Their midfield presses quite aggressively as well.
Yeah,
and then they try to hit teams like that. If that makes sense.
What made it
now
work?
I get the baton thing now. Is this what you mean with the transition then?
Yeah, in terms of the evolution of the play. What made it work was when we had Pope, who's again injured for the season, another player, and we had Joe Linton. So Pope is very good at coming off his line, just like Vicario is. And when your goalkeeper is very good at coming off his line and being a super keeper, your back line can push up. Your back line can push up. Your defense can push up. Your forwards can push up. Dubravka doesn't like to push up. And what happens is that makes the defense very insecure and they drop back. But the midfield are busy pushing up. And so what happens is a big gap in the middle. And so Eddie, that's gotten better over the last several games. But the problem is there's still the quality of player. Dubravka is okay, but he's not an exceptional keeper. And we're still putting square pegs in round holes because we have to in terms of our defensive options. And what's happening. So yes, we're organized better and we're conceding less chances, but the players are, especially in the back, the players are who they are.
Just to round up real quick, just to make it super clear, I just want to know your weaknesses moving forward. What should Spurs look out for? And then a score prediction.
Okay, so our weaknesses will be, you guys will dominate the game territorially and in possession. It will definitely be you guys overloading our wings, the wings left and right, overloading those in your cutbacks. And what happens from there is up to you. If you don't convert it, you're going to be in trouble. And that leads me to the next point in terms of what our strengths are, which is we can convert our chances, and we've got killers up front, and we know what we're doing. We're like the third, fourth highest converting team in the country. We're actually second in terms of clean sheets as well, but there's about 3 or 4 teams that are second in clean sheets as well. But in terms of converting our chances, we're very good, and we have an excellent home record, and so the crowd will get behind Eddie Howe and the team. And so if you're not up for it, or if one of your players does something stupid, a stupid tackle, winds up the players, it could be you can make a very easy game.
Like why not Maddison?
Yeah, if Maddison pulls a stunt like that, it's not gonna go well, is what I'll say. I forgot what the third question was.
The third question was a score prediction, but I did want to know who the number one player you'd look out for. Like, is it an Isak?
For Tottenham?
For Newcastle. Is it Gomeres the danger man, or is it Isaac the danger man?
So Gomeres and Gordon are best performing players. And obviously Isak is Isak, who he is in terms of how he converts the chances. If you see Isak beginning to drop in, do those one-touch passes with Bruno, Gordon setting off, and they get into a rhythm of doing that, it could be a very dangerous, dicey game for Tottenham if we work out a way to break your lines and you're not converting your chances on the other side. Because I wonder if, and you guys can tell me this, I know it's great goals that Van de Ven and Poro scored, but it was Van de Ven and Poro and not your strikers or your midfield.
For me, like the whole debate was when Kane left, who's going to score our goals? Because he was the one. Between him and Son, they were the only players that were scoring goals. But now, I think the notion is that the goals are going to be spread across the team.
Yeah.
And so it's not just because the fullbacks are inverting and they're playing in the pockets, they're playing as number 10s or number 8s. Now, all of a sudden, they become threats. So your doggy scored, did he not, against you lot? I think he did.
Yes.
So you've got scoring, you've got Poro, now he's on the score sheet. Son scored. So now you've got all of these other players contributing to the goals. And I think that's what it is. So now lots of players are in attacking positions, basically, because we are overloading the central positions. We're getting 4 or 5 men in the box. But if that answers your question, what's your score prediction?
I hate going against my team. You guys
You don't have to, bro.
I'll just say you guys are favorites. It's your game. I'm not going to say to lose, but I think the incentive is on you to win. I'll say that much. I don't like betting against my team at all, but I'll say you guys are favorites, most certainly.
Score?
I don't like betting against my team.
Hey Jay, what's the score? Newcastle.
Newcastle Tottenham.
What are you going for?
I'm gonna. What do you mean? We could be playing against risen from the dead Socrates' Brazil, and I'd still be like, Spurs on the counter. So I'll go with the Spurs win. These are the kind of games, like it's a bit like West Ham. Just make sure you definitely don't lose it. Obviously, Villa have got Arsenal as well, so a win puts you. We've got the game in hand still, so yeah, I think this is one of those games where I don't want to give Newcastle that feeling that I want this game. I want us to be 2 goals up, if possible, by the 70th minute. Yeah, because if it's not, if we're 1 goal up or something going into the last 20 minutes or it's level, that's not. Depends on fitness as well for Newcastle. Work them.
What was the score?
I'm getting there. I'm saying the scheme. So fitness for Newcastle. Spurs need to work this Newcastle side because the players that are going to come into the side in the offensive position, certainly, bar Barnes, it's the midfield work them. Then the replacements aren't of the same quality. So if you're going to be in this game, I want us to be, let's go 3-1. But 3-1 can also quite easily be 2-2.
It's all right to be 3-1, my bro. It's all
That's
right.
I'm going 3-1, but I'm just saying 3-1 and 2-2.
You can be positive. It's okay. It's all right. 3-1. Stay with 3-1.
3-1. I'm going.
I'm gonna say 3-1 as well. I was gonna go for 2-1, but I thought 3-1 only because Newcastle, their team is so depleted, and it would be a terrible result for them though. 3-1 at home to Newcastle, abysmal. I can't lie. So maybe I'm being over ambitious. I'm gonna bring it down to 2-1 because I think it'll be tighter than maybe we might think if they park the bus, because we do typically. What we do is we struggle against low block teams, but we tire them out, and that's why we are second half FC, because the first half is so relentless. By the time second half happens, these men are just, oh my days, what happened? Like we've just got a next gear that another teams that can't really cope with, that are outside that kind of top 6. But yeah, I'm gonna come to Chinks. What is your score prediction for Aston Villa versus Arsenal?
Oh man, I don't know. I actually don't know.
You feel they're gonna fumble the ball? Do you reckon they're gonna get rattled?
You know what? Do you remember? I think you might have asked me the last thing with Brighton, and I said I think we're not gonna win. I know we're not gonna do a clean sweep of these last games.
You think that's where the ball drops? The mentality starts to falter a bit.
No, I just think it's you winning a game or not. I think that it's not tangible. You know what I mean?
It's not
that mentality thing. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just like a cop out in a way, because you win a game or you don't, innit? So I think we'll win, but I know one it because we've got 8 or 7 games left, innit? I don't know which one.
Tottenham, Newcastle.
No, he's not. He said Villa, Arsenal.
Yeah, Tottenham.
I switched it. I said
Did
Villa.
you?
Yeah, I switched
you done your switcheroonie.
Oh my word!
The Spurs Newcastle, on form, it should be Spurs that win, or maybe it's Brandon or something. I don't know why it is. I just think Spurs will win, but for some reason, I think the attitude that Toon has towards Spurs, I don't think it's individual to him. I think Newcastle as a whole might feel that way in regards to Spurs. So I see it being a bit more feisty than the first original 4-1 game. But I still will say form prevails that Spurs should win. But I still big
another team, isn't it? It's easier to when it's your own.
Because my emotions are not involved.
Kind of take that out. Know that you're being emotional right now. Take that out and just put your football head on. What do you think?
Yeah,
Is
but
it-
then it's like it's stop. Sorry, go on, Toon.
You say Arsenal Villa. Is that you guys playing at home?
Yeah. Oh, are you playing at home? Yeah, I think you're away on it, and you're not at their
I
ground.
don't even know.
I'll tell you.
At Arsenal or at home?
I'll tell you what I told the
Scoring.
guys on here last time when I predicted that I think Spurs were going to beat when Spurs played Villa. And I said you guys would win 3-1, but you won 4-1. And the guys were in here were like, no way, man, no way. All you have to do, because you've got big athletic midfielders, is shut down Kamara and Luiz. Yes, they're technically good, but they're not big athletic guys.
Luiz is playing.
Who?
Luiz is out. Douglas Luiz is out.
My friend, you guys are going to win. You're going to win. You're going to win
4-1. Maybe I keep getting caught up in the storyline, innit? Which is why I always pick lose. But think about it, yeah. Emery, Watkins always wants to show out against us. Just had a shaky game in the Champions League.
Typical game. Typical Champions League knockout.
Do you know what I mean? But in terms of the narratives of all the storylines that always come to fucking fruit against
That's
us.
where Arteta earns his money and reminds them what it is.
But what do you not think potentially there's an element of watching that Bayern Munich versus Arsenal game? Villa will see some, because Villa have got characteristics. Villa have got characteristics. Villa have got characteristics in the team that are similar to Bayern.
Villa are not Bayern.
No, they're not. You know what? The first time I thought, Arsenal's defense can get got at. Like before, Arsenal were perceived as invincible. Like,
Because there's a chink there. There's a chink there. I've not seen
teams
before.
are aggressive and they take their chance. I think a DRB can run at them. DRB can run at
Bailey, Watkins. These guys run at them.
Didn't they already beat us this season, or am I remembering?
They beat you 1-0 this season as well.
Yeah,
they beat you.
Right,
no, they did beat you. They did beat one. I guess what I'm saying is that people are looking at. I think the game leading to the Bayern Munich, people were saying, "Oh, they're so bad at form. There's going to be no fans," and so there was that whole. So people were shocked. I don't know if the players bought into that narrative and overextended themselves, where they could have. If Arsenal just played as Arsenal, patient, methodical, what you can be, you would have just
doing that. They were doing that in the first 10 minutes. They were doing
that. And then you just stopped. So, but I think when Arsenal go back to the Premier League.
Should be
they'll be that team. Yeah. They'll be that team again. I mean, like they can rise to be in the middle of the field and say, "Where's Kamara?" Or you have to look down. Oh, there he is, that 5'4" guy, and then you forget that he's on the pitch. All that stuff's going to happen.
There's no music. There's no lights.
There's no music. There's no lights. It's just the cold ground.
And they call it the Emirates Stadium in that one as well. So yeah, it should make a difference.
Boy, I just know it's. I thought it was Brighton the last week. We turned them over easily. I was like, wow, that was quite impressive. But now it's Villa, and I can admit maybe it's too much of my emotions. I can't separate it.
So you're saying, Chinks, you're saying
Arsenal win 4-0. No,
4-0, yeah.
taking that to the bank.
Flip it, yeah. 2, what do you reckon?
4-1 Arsenal.
Jay?
Sheesh, bro.
I'm just wondering if Emery's got something for you. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm just thinking, has he got? Because I'm not going to disagree with what I said. That's the first time I've seen Arsenal look like, oh wow, these guys can get done on a transition. Like, oh wow, you can run at them. Like, it's the first time I've seen someone run at your players. People haven't been running. And it's like, I look at Villa, Bailey, Diaby, Watkins. They will run at you.
They like to run at people. They don't like to run back, though. That's the problem.
Fair enough, but I think Arsenal might edge it. But this game, like, Villa have beaten them 1-0 this season already. Emery had a good game plan for that game. Arsenal have got to play Bayern again midweek next week. Yeah, that's a tight schedule. Does Arteta change some of the team? Does that impact the performance? Are Villa going to be tired after playing Lille tomorrow? It's a lot to call. I think Arsenal edge it, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them go behind or something in this game. Like, as in, like, it's getting to a point where it's like, if Arteta rotates the team to keep it fresh for Bayern, there might be a material impact in the quality of performance in the league game. But if he doesn't rotate the team, is that going to impact them next game against Bayern?
I respect it still. I'm not gonna lie. Just before we end, guys, because it is getting super late. I just wanted to talk about the latest topic that came up, and it was to do not just with Everton being deducted some more points, FFP, but and is it fair that they get deducted? But also the whole luxury tax situation where the super rich are getting away with it again. Is it fair? What's happening to Everton? Is it fair with the luxury tax for the top teams?
For Everton, it's fair. I think the only people that don't think it's fair is Everton fans. Which
they can't. I think some of them can't read. I don't understand.
I didn't go that far. I didn't go that far. Everton fans, I didn't say that.
No, I said some. I said some. Not
it is what it is.
That's because I think it's quite. Tune, you're right. It's very logical reading. You've breached the cap. You spend like 90% of your turnover on wages and transfer fees. Like the Premier League are saving you from yourself. That's what. If it wasn't for the Premier League putting some of these restrictions in place, like Everton have been misspending since back in the day. You know when they bought Klaassen and Sigurdsson, or Rooney in the same window for the same position, and Sandro. And since that moment, they've been making loads and loads of bad decisions. And from an Everton point of view, I just think that they've just been running.
Well, what did you say? Like, because some fans are like, they want their chairmans to kind of back their club and, put their hands in their pocket. And basically that's what they try to do by buying a new stadium, trying to build up the infrastructure, trying to get them to the next level. Because I remember when they had Ancelotti, they were kind of trying to push back into that top 6 conversation. Do you know what I mean? Like, right, we just a bit more to kind of get over that line.
But the thing is, Ash, is that very simply, in my personal opinion, when you've got that, and I'm not going to begrudge an owner saying, I want to spend whatever I want to spend on my club because I've done this. The problem is that if an owner does that, he creates an infrastructure that cannot succeed without him. And if that happens and the owner decides he doesn't want to do that anymore, that club will go out of business because the money that's propping them up is from the owner. You're basically beholden at the owner changing his mind, which has happened numerous times in the last couple of decades. So essentially, you're in that situation. So once you get to FFP and whatever, you're basically saying, okay, you can't overspend what you earn. Because if the owner does decide to pull out, there's still a structure in place and you can afford to keep doing what you're doing because you're not overspending. To me, that's quite simple. And I think that's logical.
It's sustainable. Yeah.
It's sustainable and it's logical. And as a team that's had to sell big players to then reinvest in the squad and sell big players, to see other clubs want to kind of not jump the line, but almost say, oh, well, it's impossible. Well, it's not impossible. It's just very difficult.
Yeah.
But that would be difficult anyway, because look at Man City. And from my point of view, Man City did it all before the drawbridge got pulled up. Before everyone realised.
Chelsea did. City got pulled a little bit.
Man City were rushing it, even fudging number, because they knew they're like, damn, like we're not going to be able to do this in 5 years. We've got to do it all now. And now you see like Bowley, he's tried to do it with loopholes. Look at him. He tried to do it in 2 years. The window is getting smaller and smaller for a new investor to come in and a huge amount of money and be able to offset it.
Yeah.
Because clubs don't want it. Clubs don't want it. Like if you're in the football game and you're in the football game, you don't want to have to be putting your hand in your pocket. If you're an FSG, if you're a Daniel Levy, you're watching these Sheikh owners and stuff. You're like, oh my God, you're telling me I'm gonna have to spend money. That's not what I'm here for.
Both of your clubs spend money, but more than us anyway. I think I see it 2 ways. And just to add on the Everton thing as well, is that they were actually being supervised in their transfers by the Premier League, and that's what ticked off the Premier League even more. That we're here helping you. We've got these safety. We're literally there when you're putting those transfers down, and you're still doing it, which again ticked off the Premier League even more. But in terms of exactly what I think Jay's saying. I'll say that I get the point in regards to clubs, for instance, going bankrupt because of dodgy owners, and you got to protect that one. My main issue is on the other end when clubs are trying to compete, because everything on that side to me seems arbitrary or artificial. So, i.e., Newcastle wanted to get a sponsor, and if then the Premier League would say, and that sponsor wants to offer X amount of money, the Premier League would say, okay, well, hold on, we don't think they should give you this X amount of money because you don't get, on this particular, we're going to set an artificial price based on subscribers and your who knows you on the internet and stuff like that. That's when it gets a little bit like a bit kind of like, how do you guys just judge that? And I understand you're saying Man City and the sponsorship deals and stuff like that. That's where it gets on my kind of, but then
but too, you make a great point. This is how I'm going to compare it, right? Imagine you're a teacher, yeah, and you've got a D student, yeah, you got a D student every week. This D's. Do you know what I mean?
Not saying, you guys not saying pause to that.
That's you.
That's a crazy pause.
Yeah?
That's
now,
a crazy pause.
it comes to the midterm, and you put your report on my table, and you got A's. And I'm looking at this D student, and I'm thinking, how have you got A's? Because I know you are not an A student. You know what? I'm going to cap this at a B-, because you know what? Regardless of what you say, I've seen your work for the last year. Yeah. So, B- is the best we're going to give you, because you suddenly haven't become an A student. And I get it. I respect it. It's to stop teams artificially inflating too far. And you're basically saying, why won't they let us cheat? Why won't they let us?
What I'm saying is,
I don't agree with Jay a lot, Toon, but he's kind of got a point there, because they're not saying that we're capping your sponsorship. We're saying, who the fuck is this guy?
Exactly.
Right. I'm glad you're being honest now, because that's the problem, isn't it? We're going back to that. We're getting to that Big Six cartel mentality, aren't we? Like, who are these peasants asking for sponsorship deals?
Nah, but sorry.
This is what I'm saying. We've got owners. We've got the owners of connections, and they've got sponsors that want to sponsor the club. It's on them how much they want to sponsor, and that's what they want to do. Now, everybody wants to say that's cheating all of a sudden, because who are you? Who are Newcastle? We're going to set these arbitrary.
We're not saying that. We're saying, we know this is your boy. We know what's going on here. Don't think we're stupid.
What I'll say is, so what?
Why does your boy coincidentally want to pay so much more than the rest of these men?
But every club that does that, because who are billionaires friends with? They're friends with other billionaires, right? People at Manchester United have also had close networks and relationships with other clubs.
Yeah,
we're just using what we have. I mean, people were all getting their knickers into just about multi-club ownership. And that's been going on for years. We took the mick and we breathed the name Ruben Neves, and everybody went and had a big old vote about whether it's okay to loan players from clubs that you owned before. They weren't doing all of that stuff before. That's when I get in. That's when I'm like, you guys are just making this up as you go along.
Yeah, because the thing is like you're a new danger. You're a new threat. Yeah, and
you want to talk about this last time. I'm glad to hear this.
We need to protect the clubs. So there's certain things that we haven't thought of before you became a Saudi or like a state-owned. Okay, now you're a state-owned club, and now we're starting to get more conflict of interest. They own a league, they own a club. Okay, how do we stop these guys just running riot? Because they never used to own a club.
I hate you, Mars at the nail on the head.
Yeah, so it's like you're like, if you want to start. You're basically out here saying, "Oh my God, the police are pretty good around here, aren't they?"
You know what I'm saying? You know what he's doing, Jay? Jay. You know what he's doing? He's that guy. Come out the bushes. They caught us.
But on the other end, I would say Jay invites us to a race. Me, Ash, Chinks, and he says we're going to run this race, but you guys are going to have to hop, and I'm going to have to run. And that's okay because that's what I want to do. And that's the problem.
No, you know what?
No, it's more like 2. No, you're not allowed to put the steroids in your body. With your no 2, put the steroids down. You're not allowed to jab yourself.
Back to your analogy, Jay. Yeah, it's get a fucking C first, bro. You gotta get a fucking C. Get a C, then a B.
You know what I mean? What happened
show me some
fair play. Fair play.
Show me some progression, bro.
I just don't want you to change the rules midway through seasons and start doing votes midway through seasons. And just because of that.
And you know what? Back to Jay's point, to back it up here, because it's all about intention. You see the way it's up to an owner, because we're not saying that you can't spend money. We're just saying generate what you're gonna spend, innit? And because we've already made rules that if you want to invest money into the women's game, we'll write that off. That don't count. If you want to buy a new stadium, we'll write that off. That don't count. Well, you can't just buy the best players in the world.
We're not doing that. We brought down Burn.
Is reading my mind because I was literally about to say it's like doing Formula 1, but you want to drive a tank, and then you'd be upset. The other clubs are like, well, why are we not allowed to drive a moped? Yeah, like it's a wonderful.
I'll back your point. So, for instance, I'm not totally for luxury tax because I think it'll inflate the market and stuff like that. I'm not for it. What I'm saying is, you've created the rules, and we've said, okay, we're going to abide. In fact, we're going to so much abide for your rules that all we ever tell people is that we're abiding by the rules, and we're actually doing it. We're not. If you hear any conversations, it's not about Newcastle inflating anything. We're very cautious of that. Yeah. However, when we do things and people say, "Oh, you're finding loopholes," okay, so what do you want us to do? Like people say, so do you want to? Okay, people say they put Brighton as a very good example. Look how Brighton are operating. Yeah. Okay, so Brighton sold Casado. They sold who's the other guy? McAllister. They sold the third place person. That's the equivalent of us selling Bruno Gomes, Isak, and Gordon all in one season, one halfway through the season and one summer transfer window. That's how people expect Newcastle and other teams trying to get through to operate. And where do these players go? They go to the elite clubs. So when we're looking at that and we're standing back as the guys trying to knock through the door and get into their cartel, we're seeing that. We're saying, so you guys are just creating these rules. So we sell our best players because you're saying that's real growth. That's organic growth. You guys are going to be the real deal that way. And then we'll accept you. And then you take our best players and then you laugh at us when we can't compete and say, richest owners in the world, why can't you spend your money? Yeah. And then
any of y'all seen her? I'm not asking what the
your ideology.
Your ideology is off.
Tune paints to like and to the viewers and the listeners, and if you're watching on playback, Tune paints a wonderful picture. Wonderful. Looks good, looks legit, looks authentic. But when you look a little closer, you can see it's a counterfeit.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
I look at Newcastle and I look at players like Matty Target.
Yes.
Earning £100,000 a week.
Yes.
And I think to myself, oh, little old Newcastle, how did you get to pay Matty Target $100,000 a week? I then look at Newcastle's spending over the last couple of years, and I wonder to myself, who have they sold? St. Maximan? Is that about it? They've spent hundreds of millions of pounds over the last two. Huh?
The last transfer window we sold, we spent 150 and we sold 44 million pound worth of players. Okay. So that's 100 million pounds.
How much did you spend the year before?
We spent again 100 million, 120 million, and we sold about 30 to 40 million pounds.
So you guys,
let's talk about how much Tottenham have spent.
No,
you guys have spent twice as much.
Hey, hold on. We're talking about you.
We don't have to go.
We are talking about.
I mean, you're not wrong. You didn't have to say it.
Your point is, because you haven't looked at transferwindow.com. It's very easy to see how much we've sold. What we put in, you would know from that. Actually, we're actually well within our budget. Ask us again. Ask us how much did we spend this January?
I'm saying you spent 270 million in the last 2.5 years. 270 million.
Do you know why that is?
No, hold on.
Okay.
Spend 270 million pounds, right? You've recouped
in how many windows? How many windows?
1, 2, 3. Let's say 4 windows.
Divide that by 4. How much have we spent?
I'd say what's that? 70,
Right.
70 or so.
So Wolves
Is that
spent
about
more
right?
money than us. Wolves spent more money than us. Say that
Wolves-
again.
Listen,
Say
I'm
that
saying,
again.
I'm saying to you,
Wolves has spent
Hold
more
on,
money
hold
than
on.
us.
You spent
Nottingham Forest
hold
has
on.
spent more money than us.
right. What I'm saying is you spent 270 million pounds. You've lifted the wage bill dramatically of your team.
Not dramatically.
Yeah? Okay, listen. Well, you've got players on hundreds of thousands that were
Sorry,
not.
Yes.
Jay, they've spent since 2019. They've spent 515 million.
Yes. 19. How many? Okay, so that's 5 seasons.
That's a lot.
5
Yeah.
seasons.
Half
That's
a billion, yeah.
That's 6 transfer windows.
Violin Newcastle,
That
yeah.
is
That's what I'm
5
saying,
seasons.
yeah.
No, in fact, 5 seasons times 2 for every transfer window. That's
Right.
10 transfer windows.
Okay. So you spent
That's 50 million pounds per transfer window.
Yeah.
Compare that price, would you, my good sir, to Nottingham Forest, to Wolves, to Brighton, to in fact any other team that's in and around us. We've spent on average the same as all those other players. Now, before 2019, ask us how many what was our transfer? How many players did we buy then? We bought zilch compared to everybody else. We actually went backwards in our spending. So the reason why we've been able to spend so much is because Mike Ashley wouldn't spend any money.
Yeah, right. So basically,
So that's why we spent the money.
Well, obviously, first and foremost, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, balance your books a little bit better. Thank you.
We excellent books.
You've spent since the takeover. Sorry to cut you, Jay.
Yeah, go on,
it says that this is last year, April 2003. It said you spent 254.8 million, which is this, but only behind Chelsea in terms of what you've spent.
Yeah.
Since the takeover. So
when was the takeover?
Was it 2019? Or I'm not
exactly.
sure.
It was no,
not 2019.
Don't get away with that waffle. It was 2022.
2022. No, it
Yeah.
wasn't. 21 October. 2021 October.
So when did you start buying players?
It's been 2.5 seasons.
When did you start buying players?
So that January, October January.
What was that year then? What was that year?
So it's about 2021. It's been 5 transfer windows.
Why are you saying 2021 when you couldn't start buying players till January 2022?
Because the winter transfer window. The winter transfer window.
We can start
so after October, it's November. After November, it's December. After December, it's January.
Yeah, 2022. Right?
Yes, so exactly. So that's what we've gone. It's been 5 transfer windows. One of those transfer windows. One of those transfer windows. The last transfer window. So the last transfer window, which is January, we didn't spend any money.
Who did Larry's doing pauper gimmick.
No. I'm just saying to you. You've
spent money, Toon. You've spent money.
No, I'm not saying that we haven't. I'm saying that we've spent money responsibly. And
no one is doubting how you spent it. I'm saying that you spent quite a lot of money in quite a short period of time. The wage
not short. No. Okay. In comparison to who?
Okay, in comparison to teams that are not trying to steroid themselves up and break into the top. We know you're ambitious, yeah? We know you've got aspirations.
False argument, strawman. You made a strawman argument.
I'm not making a strawman argument.
We've spent the equivalent of money compared to everybody else.
But you are now.
But it's about what you earn.
And we have been spent, and we've spent within how much? Don't you think the Premier League? The first thing the Premier League would do was announce.
But your revenue is a fraction of Chelsea's. So
you guys have to say this.
But you've got a fraction of
our revenue has gone up by 39%.
Because you're artificially inflating it. This is why you're a B- student.
And you're an awful teacher.
I won't let you cheat in class. I'm sorry.
You don't even know what exams you're setting. You don't even know what exams you're setting. You're saying we're cheating.
Bro, listen.
Okay, so you do know. Okay, so you do know that our revenue since last year has gone up by 39%, right?
Listen, but the thing is that
let me just finish. We've gone up by 39%. We buy and sell players. We sold 44 million worth of players. We bought, which actually decreased our spending from 150 to 110 million pounds. Our wages and everything, we're actually breaking even. We didn't spend any money in January. And so everything that we're spending is within our limits. The reason why you've seen this burst of spending is because Mike Ashley in the previous years didn't spend. Our highest earner before that was on 50K.
Okay.
Was on 50K. Our people joked about Sports Direct, and it's a good joke. Who put Sports Direct there? Mike Ashley. Do you know how much we earned from that? 500k. Now
that's
taking the mick, right?
That's the fair value. That's the fair value I've been looking for.
You see,
like
you see.
know
Look at this corrupt teacher. And he's setting the exams. He's saying, how am I going to pass with these tests?
St. James's Park, 500,000.
You know, when you're having to lie,
too much at this
you're already
point.
losing the argument.
Who negotiated this deal? In fact,
where you have to lie, you're already losing the argument.
Guys, I'm gonna have to end it here, man. Get to the bottom of this one. I'll be pause. First of all, I want to big up to my guests that have been on prior that had to leave a little bit earlier. So big up folks and big up Ian. I don't know, like
and Steph.
Ian,
Steph, man.
and Steph. Yeah, sorry, no, Steph. I was gonna say Ian. What did you say? We rating Ian? Ian get in?
We're like live on air. We're gonna rate him. Like. Ash is ruthless, bro.
Is Jones shaky? I don't know. Is Jones play shaky? I don't know.
I liked Ian. I liked Ian. He was good. He was decent.
I'm joking.
Because he agreed with everything you said.
Well, a man of the one time he disagreed with me, he went off on a little bit of a tangent. And
it was a bit obtuse.
That's how you have to do to get away from me. You have to go around the houses. So no, it's good. I've enjoyed it. Thanks, man.
Is that Daddy? Is that you? My long lost brother. But yeah, big up Stefan, obviously.
Big up Stefan.
Big up Stefan at each every time.
To the listeners, like people who are watching this, they'll be like, he's so much worse in the group chat. Whatever you think,
I regret creating a group chat.
It's a great group.
Go do a group chat.
If I've got like 20 minutes,
I'm like, are you sure you want this? Yeah.
If I've got 20 minutes to kill, I'll have a conversation with Stefan, and he'll just disagree with everything I've ever like. I could say the sky's blue, and he'll be like, "No, I don't see that."
They're white in it.
Yeah. Also, clouds don't exist. Come on,
guys. This is what we're doing. Yeah, man. Big up to the comments as well.
Big up, Steph. Big up comments.
The comments went X-rated, boy. Goodness gracious.
Mercy. But yeah, man. So yeah, big up to Tactics TV. Where can we find you next?
Guys, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. I recently got 250 subscribers. I'm really, really happy about that. Thank you for all the guys. Thank you guys for all the subscribe to that.
Brick by brick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as well on Toon Tactics TV. I released a 3-part series on our transfer window approach, and I just released a new video on our raising the floor because I buy players from the championship, Jay, because it 4 players that everybody else thinks of buying.
Oh, let it go. Hey, Wilfred, let it
go. No, some great talent up there. So I've kind of named a few of those guys over there. So there's some stuff, and I'm doing a preview for the Tottenham game this week from today, Thursday. Today's Thursday, so you guys look out for that. And I'll be appearing in a few channels. I think with your man Deji and another gentleman I forgot, Robbie as well from Lily Whites as well. So guys, do look out for that.
Big up Deji as well, and also Jay Rated R. Thanks for coming on once again. And where can we find you next?
You just find me floating around Twitter, doing a few shows here and there, spreading wisdom, logical fallacies. No, but it's all good. No, it's I'm like I said the other day, I've done too many streams this week, and then Ash is like, "Hey, do you want to jump on?" I'm like, "You beautiful bastard!" I mean,
yeah, bloody Kenya.
It's one of those, but no, it's always fun. Comments have been great. Get me J Rated R on Twitter, and then you'll probably see me floating around. But thank you for having me. I do need my fucking bed, but the show has been fun.
And last but not least, Chinks, Thanks for coming on. Big yourself up each and every time. Love, my bro. What have you got coming up next in your shows?
No, big up, man. Thanks for having me here, man. I love it every time, man. It's the highlight of my week. I enjoy this, man.
Big
Seriously.
up, big up.
Speak some logical football. You know what I mean? Apart from some fucking idiots.
No shots.
But yeah, I'll be here as long as I'm welcome, man. My football takes, man. I know I'm a gooner and you lot help me, but you hate me. But big up the comments, man. You know, enjoyment. I'm telling you, I'm just sitting there agreeing with you. Like, I don't know why he does it.
Enjoy it.
I love him as well, man. But big up, man.
Big up. All right, cool, man. Yes, and once again, guys, just do remember, if you can, please, if you like the show, like it, share it, tell a friend to tell a friend, and also make sure you subscribe as well, and put those notification bells on so you know when our next show is coming up, man. But yeah, please subscribe to all of these people, and I'm gonna end it on, come on, you Spurs, in Big Andrew Trust, let's do the tsunami over.
You didn't really practice that side off line, did you?
That lacks so much energy. Are
the Spurs guys hoping for an Arsenal win
this weekend?
Sweat so serious.
Nah. We'll do our job ourselves. We don't need no help.
We don't need no handouts, but
I respect it.
I'm gonna lie to you, but yeah. Peace.
Big up, man.
Take care, guys. God bless.